Wow, I had my microphone muted that whole time. I swear it sounded like you guys were talking to me. I was responding to every comment since the start. I'm so sorry. It was so weird because as I was saying things, it sounded like you guys were responding to me. I'm sorry about that. Oh man. I was talking that entire time. Whoops. So you get for going. It was so weird. I could have sworn you guys were responding to what I was saying. Usually he talks. I was a show and tell. No, I would never do that. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, so anyway, how do I just re-say everything that I just said? I was talking about the NXi at the beginning too, because you guys were talking about that. I was reading all your comments off, I swear. I was being a good streamer. Anyway, yeah, so when I first loaded in, I was at basically a blend of high-end and ultra. I tend to use the high-end preset, and then I turn up a bunch of... Do I have a rewind button? The stream does, but you'll just rewind to hear me not talking. So I normally turn a few things up to ultra, like clouds and like trees, grass, water, all that stuff, and leave the rest on high-end. But yeah, when we loaded in here, I was at 40 FPS. Then I switched to the ultra preset. That took us to 30. Then I switched terrain detail or level of detail from 200 up to 400, which is the max, and that dropped us to 20. So yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing, and hopefully I remember which spot we were at. But yeah, this frame rate is horrible, but it's obviously because I have pretty much everything except for motion blur on, everything maxed out. Turtleneck, what's up? I haven't seen you in so long. I hope your training's going good, dude. That's awesome. And if I rewind, I saw Mike C earlier. Sorry, Mike. I did see your comment and commented. You said, I need to thank you for teaching me a lot about simming. Made me realize how much I like aviation. Took the Discovery flight. Now I'm in full-on flight training. That's awesome. What I said to that the first time, and I was muted, was congratulations. I still haven't flown a Discovery flight myself. I just still kind of live vicariously through my partner who flies, and she always asks me if I'm ever gonna fly. But I go with her every now and then, and in general, I'm nervous when I'm a passenger. You know, I'm in the back seat. I haven't even sat right seat with her yet. Normally, it's like with her instructor or a pilot friend of hers, and I'll just back seat. But the times we take the Cirrus, I'm way less scared just because I know you have another failsafe in the parachute system. So that does make me a bit less nervous. But if I never got into simming, I think I would be even more scared. If I lost my voice, thankfully not. Don't see much of a difference in clouds from ultra to high. Yeah, we don't have any here to check out, but there goes somebody buzzing the tower. Anyway, I felt nervous too. Normally not an adrenaline seeker, but once I went up, I just loved it. Yeah, I think I might feel the same way. I used to like rock climb a lot. I rode motorcycles for many years. I used to take many more, like do more, relatively risky things 10 years ago, but not so much anymore. But yeah, I think the freedom I felt when I first got on a motorcycle years ago, I think is probably like that doubled when you're flying a plane. So yeah, I can only imagine. Commercial pilot new to Sims, built a budget system. What global settings should you use on a Ryzen? 64 gigs of memory. I mean, there's not really a way to tell you what to do, and like you have to experiment yourself, but I would just start with the high-end settings. I don't know what the Ryzen 5 equivalent is. I'm on an NVIDIA card. So if that's like I don't know if that's like a 2080 equivalent or a 3080 or something else. It's hard to say, but I would just play with the presets to start. So when you go in the graphics settings, just start with like the high-end setting maybe here under global quality. Those of us that are using NVIDIA cards in this beta, we have DLSS now as an option. So I'm actually going to enable that now and restart the sim. So for those of you on NVIDIA cards, when you're if you're using the beta or when Sim Update 10 comes out, you can find the DLSS setting here under anti-aliasing. So it's the last setting right here, NVIDIA DLSS. The default is balanced, but there are 4 settings here: performance, ultra performance, quality, and balanced. So it's just basically how DLSS works is it renders the game in a much lower resolution and then uses like AI to upscale it to a higher resolution. So it's like you're running at half or 60 or 70% of your normal resolution instead. So it's easier to render everything. It can render it more quickly and it performs better. And then it does some amazing work to increase the quality so it looks like it's higher resolution than it's actually running at. So there's no difference to you other than more, performance improvements. So, there, of course, there will be some quality changes, right? Like you're not going to get it completely for free, but in general, that's the goal of DLSS. So balance is, between a performance and a quality balance. I'll start it on quality. We can change this slider once we're in. But right now, once I apply this, it's going to force me. Oh, is it not going to force me to restart? Whoa. Okay. You might see the frame rate up there just went to 40. I thought I had to restart the sim for this to take effect, but it looks like it just did. Okay. So we just went from 20 to 40 FPS. This is still at 400. This is still at 400 terrain quality. We just doubled our frames. All right, that's crazy. This is in quality mode as well, which will be the least impactful on your frames. So if we switch to balanced or one of the 2 performance modes, we should get even more frames out of it. So this is an advantage of DLSS, I guess, and having an NVIDIA card. I'm pretty sure AMD is doing something similar. I actually don't know what it's called. I'm not as familiar with that, but that was a big improvement. We literally just doubled our frame rate. That is pretty crazy. Even while I'm moving around, we're not dropping below 30. Okay, there's 28 when I spin really fast. So let me change that again. Oh, FSR is the AMD one. I'm not familiar with it, so yeah, I guess there is something similar. All right, I mean, that's pretty crazy. So let me dial back the terrain detail just a little bit. Wait, hold on. Oh, we went to high end. That's why. We weren't even in ultra. Ah, just kidding. It reverted to high end, or did I leave it on that? I think I messed up. Okay, let's try this again. Let's go back to TAA. So this is our regular anti-aliasing method. Let's go back to 400. So this is completely maxed out. Yeah, that did seem too good to be true, right? All right, 400. All right, so now we're back to our 20, or it's 16 and 15 now as it's loading in. 15 went below 10 for a second. I also have some mods for like the the vehicles and stuff out there. All the trees are a mod as well. The Rex mod, AccuSeason. All right, stabilizing around 20, 21 now. All right, let's try this again. Sorry, that was such a tease. I was like, we doubled our frame rate. Oh, wait. No, we didn't. Okay, so now this is still on custom. All right, so we were at 20. Oh, no. Is it going to stay the same? I think this is with DLSS on now. It looks like it's staying the same. Oh, no. That was such a tease. I was like, hey, it doubled our frame rate. Oh, wait. There's no change. Still at 20. I'm also kind of killing the frames with the level of detail. So let's put this back to the Ultra preset and compare the two. So we're still on Ultra, but with 200 on the terrain level of detail. So we're approaching 30. This is still with DLSS on. 28. Will it work for VR? I haven't confirmed that, but apparently it does. CPU limited according to the graph. Yeah, I have a, what do I have? The 5900X. All right, so we're at like 26. Let me just turn off DLSS again, and actually let's go for the balance setting. That's the default. Just try through these different settings here. I mean, it's barely moving up. I wouldn't say that made much of an impact. More GPU performance won't really help. Yeah, I don't know much about the debugging tool here where it says limited by main thread. If I check my task manager, I know you guys won't be able to see this, but and go under performance and look at my CPU, let's see. So yeah, I have a 5900X, so that's a 1200 or a 12 core processor. It's running at about 40% right now, 39%. And that's also including my streaming software. So I have that running pretty hot on my streaming software in 1440p. So that's also using CPU to render my stream. I wonder actually if that's impacting running my streaming software on the CPU instead of the GPU is potentially taking away power from the sim. I don't know, I've never really had too much of a problem with it. Maybe I'll have to experiment with that someday. So I mean, it doesn't actually look like I've gotten much of an improvement by using DLSS. So we're at about 30 FPS here on the balance spot, yeah. I mean, maybe that's true that that this main thread is limiting it from going higher. Even with DLSS, it just doesn't matter. Even if I go ultra performance, yeah, it's still barely getting to 30. Most of the issues are pure CPU limits. Not that the 5900 is bad. Yeah, I have a feeling that it's, yeah, just not utilizing the CPU enough. What's weird is, I mean, Chicago, like this area generally just eats away at my frame rate near Chicago. I did test in LA and I was getting 40 to 50 FPS around LA, which is usually really difficult to fly around. And I had Ultra on there as well. So, I mean, even if I go back to TAA, leave it on Ultra, I think we're still going to see a similar frame rate. 27. So maybe we get a couple FPS out of it. But this is, I don't know, this is kind of a stress test in this area. Just, I mean, look at all the cars that are rendered in even. This update is awesome. We get nav something finally standard. DC6 will get full FPS in the. I don't know. I'm not sure. That's over my head, Murdoch, but that sounds great. DC6 will get full FPS in the cockpit. Turn down all the traffic. Try switching DLSS settings around. I mean, I don't. Yeah. Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. Like lower the traffic and things like that, and let it spend all of its possible resources on everything else, and see if DLSS makes a difference in those cases. Yeah, I could turn like all this traffic down. I'll just turn all of this down and see what happens. I mean, this is gonna probably even ground vehicles and things like that. It's now rendering gauges on the CPU or GPU and not CPU. Oh, nice. Turn off things that hit CPU. See if we can see GPU and performance improvements. So we did just go up to, it's peaking around 32. I don't have DLSS on anymore. I turn off all the airport vehicles, ground traffic. There's all those cars and stuff on the ground. I'm not sure if I can turn those on. And then let me turn off multiplayer traffic, all of the aviation traffic as well. I mean, these will give us a decent boost regardless of DLSS. All right, so now we're up to 35. DLSS is still off. It's peaking around 35. All right, general options again. Now let's try DLSS. I'll leave it on quality to start because that's the least impactful. So we're at, looks like in the menus it's at like 37, 38. When do we peak at 35 with TAA? Yeah, it's pretty much the same. I mean, I think that I'm also, obviously we're just sitting here on the ground, so not much is changing. So I think during a flight, we're gonna have to do the same test to see how it goes. Because when it's constantly bringing in new things and rendering them, it's gonna be different than just sitting here at the ground. Which graphics card? 3080. An NVIDIA 3080. I got lucky and got one, it was about a year ago? A year and a half ago, something like that. GPU temps are people seeing? Let me see what mine says if my stats work here. I don't think I have a CPU, I don't think I have a GPU temperature monitor actually. It's using 67% of my GPU RAM, or my VRAM. Alright, go fly. Yeah, I will. Alright, so I think I'll just leave it on TA, or leave it on DLSS quality for now. And then let's turn motion blur back off. And I'm going to turn all the traffic back on too. Let's just go to defaults on all this. Turn nameplates on. All right, real-time online. All of this is on. Traffic varieties on ultra. What the? Show multiplayer aircraft in close proximity. Oh, I see. So that's if you run right into somebody, I guess, you know how it like ghosts their plane? This would change it so it doesn't. Generic models for AI traffic off. Okay. So this is all kind of ultra settings here. You're actually going to fly. Well, a big part of this update was DLSS and performance improvement, so part of testing out the new stuff is also testing that stuff out. All right, and one thing I read about the DLSS stuff is that in general it makes the displays blurry. So no matter what setting you're using for DLSS, when you turn it on, the displays here, the glass cockpit stuff, any LCD type displays or LED, are blurry. And I did notice that when I tested it before. All right, I'm sure, yeah, okay, some of the settings are changed, so I'm gonna go turn my assisted checklist back on to speed this up. Assisted checklist, oh, it is on. All right. When I went from a 3080 to a 3090 Ti, it made a massive difference in some airports. Nice, yeah. I haven't upgraded yet. I still feel a bit spoiled having the 3080, so I haven't even thought about upgrading. I'm sure the 4000 series is around the corner. I guess we'll see. You have a 5900X 3080. Still have stuttering when you look at the ground at low altitude. Flying and talking at the same time. Yeah, it can be a challenge, but that's part of the reason why I use autopilot so much when I'm streaming, or I try to, is just to to be able to do all this stuff at the same time. And then while I'm talking to chat, somebody will inevitably point out, you forgot to run through the landing checklist or something like that. It's like, I'm kind of doing a couple other things. I'm not perfect. Leave me alone. Don't worry, you can't die. True. All right, so the G1000 now, this is the built-in G1000. It's the NXi, but it's in the plane by default, so you don't have to install anything unless you're using a third-party plane. Then you need the version that's in the marketplace. So as you can see with all the X'd out instruments basically, and like this is the NXi, no doubt. As reversionary mode, so we're in one screen mode right now. Let it do the run up or the after starting engine checklist. So any plane that you fly that's in a Sobo stock plane, so like the G1000, the DA40, the SR22, the Grand Caravan, all those planes that have the G1000 in by default that are Asobo planes. Okay, here we can see NXi system is, so working title 1.0. So this is the first 1.0 version of the working title NXi. It's been like 0 dot something since it was released. So this is how we know it's on that version. And I don't have the marketplace version installed. So what we're seeing is what you get by default. So regardless of whether you have the mod installed or not, yeah, 0.12.2. If you have 0.12.2 installed from the marketplace, that will make the NXi work in third-party planes. But all the Asobo planes have the 1.0 version. I think they're identical to each other, and the frames are not great right now either. I know I'm still in Ultra. Yeah, and you can definitely see the blurriness here on the numbers, especially if I'm in the default view. This looks quite blurry compared to the stuff around it. I'm not sure if that comes through well on the stream or not. Once you zoom in enough, it looks fine. But yeah, zoomed out, definitely. And we're just at 20 FPS now, so let's turn, I'll just leave this, yeah, I'll leave this on quality still. Are you supposed to leave the working title version installed or not? You only need it if you're flying third-party planes, so a marketplace plane, a non-Asobo plane with a G1000. Otherwise, you don't need it. So if you're flying something that has a G1000 that is a marketplace third-party, like a Carenado or, you know, Just Flight or whatever, you want the working title version, you have to install the marketplace one as well. It just doesn't hurt to have them both installed, I guess. Some changes from 0.12.2. Yes, there are. Yeah, we'll go over those. Yeah, they were in the release notes, so actually let me have those ready here just so I can reference them. Sim Update 10 release notes. Here, I'll link these in the chat as well, just in case anybody wants to look at them. So yeah, this has the whole list of everything in the beta, including, yeah, DLSS and all the fixes they've done. There's also the VFR map. We'll take a look at that. So it says, thanks to the working title team, the VFR map's been updated to include a number of new quality of life features. So you can actually click around in the VFR map. Now let's actually just bring that up. Let me hit V. So here in the VFR map, there's a search at the top. So when you type in an airport name, you get this list. And when you click it, you get information about that airport. Doesn't look like I can scroll though. Huh. And you can also click on things, so you can click on airports. Oh no, is scrolling broken? Maybe they just didn't intend it to be this big of a list. Let me try a smaller airport. Let's try like Santa Barbara. Oh yeah, it doesn't look like I can scroll this list. But it has frequencies. Yeah, there we go. And it has the METAR at the bottom too. So it's almost like this VFR map here is turning into like a poor man's ForeFlight or like a poor man's Navigraph. So you can get this information instead of using the G1000, you can do it in, you know, like a quote unquote touch screen. Turning off VFR map in the toolbar gives you some FPS, huh? Yeah, so it's kind of nice if you're just flying around. I mean, like right now, I guess I could just find a nearby airport to fly to. Get its information quickly. Yeah, the scrolling Oh, Matt says it's getting fixed. Do you mean the scrolling here? Yeah, I guess it's a known issue. So then we have the METAR and can see what kind of approaches there are just because we can see there's an ILS frequency. So at least we know there are 2 ILS approaches there. Tons of runways to pick from. Something I want to test is to see if ATC works. If we get ATC options when we put in a destination, I'm not sure if that's in this sim update or a future one. So I always want to be able to like have ATC know a change in my flight plan. So let's put in KDKB. Just put in some nearby airport. All right, so let's go KORD. Destination. KDKB. Now, can we get our clearance? I think we can. So it says right here, request IFR clearance. Let me do a test and just get rid of the destination right there and see if this option number 8 goes away. It did not go away. Request IFR clearance. How does it know? Let me see if I just delete the flight plan, does it go away? Normally, at least how it worked before, not with the NXi, is when you put in an origin and destination, you could request your IFR clearance. And then, you know, put in a whole route. And if you change your destination, you could ask for a new IFR clearance to your new destination. I think there was another option where it would say like request IFR destination change or something like that. Yeah, it's still there. Close and reopen. So somehow it still says request it. Maybe once I enter it, it goes in there. That could be how it is too. Let's test that really quickly. I'm just going to hit restart just to reload in. Because what's great about this is, you know, right now, if you're using in-game ATC, which I know a lot of people scoff at it and they don't want to use it because it, you know, tries to fly them into mountains, you know, little issues like that where ATC tries to kill you. For some reason, people have a problem with that. But I actually, all jokes aside, I actually use it pretty often just so there's something happening. But it's really nice when you land and you can change your flight plan without reloading into the world, exiting, going into the world map, getting back in, getting the whole plane started up again, all that stuff. You could land, drop off your cargo if you're using like a career mode mod, and then just put in your new destination, call the fuel truck or whatever, and get going again, you know, and then be able to update ATC. All right, let's just do the quick start with Control E. Make sure my mixture is rich. All right, so let's see again. In-game ATC does a lot of work. Yeah, I also don't use VATSIM, Darren. Like I used Pilot Edge a couple times here and there. Okay, cool. So we don't have the option to ask for an instrument flight plan to get our clearance. So that's a good sign because it makes me think that this is working somewhat. All right, so let's do it again. KORD. What was DeKalb? KD.
Clearance delivery envoy tree 750 IFR to Traverse City, ready to copy.
DKB, was it? Yeah, DKB.
750 is cleared to Traverse City Airport as filed.
Yep, so there we go. Oh, it appeared and then, yeah, there it is. All right, request IFR clearance. So, looks like this kind of works. All right, someone else is getting their clearance right now because I have all the traffic turned on, including AI traffic, or live traffic. It could at least not help you fly into a mountainside. Yeah. All right, so it looks like we'll be able to request IFR clearance then. So, en route, let me just eyeball a route here. I'm just going to put in a couple waypoints. So let's just go through DPA. Just add a VOR on the way. Okay, and I updated the VFR map as expected. All right, so let's just request it.
Clearance delivery Cessna November.
Yep, and it's got our right
22
destination
Kilo
there, so
India
DeKalb,
Papa IFR to Kilo
DeKalb,
Delta Kilo
DeKalb.
Bravo, ready to copy.
Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa is cleared to
All right,
Kilo
awesome.
Delta Kilo Bravo Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 10 left climb and maintain 6,000 feet. Departure frequency is 126.625 squawk tree 165.
All right, so we'll read all that back.
Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa, cleared to Kilo Delta Kilo Bravo.
Got our squawk code in there. Climb and maintain
Takeoff
6,000.
runway
Let's set
10
that
left
on our
climb and
autopilot.
Maintain 6,000 feet. Departure on
Can we escort you again? Yeah, of course.
126.625
I don't have, I'm just
165.
picking some random routes right now just to do, you know, just to test out the features, so might not be too exciting for you guys. Not doing like a sightseeing thing. All right, climb maintain 6,000. We're gonna, you know, as you guys probably know, like Microsoft Flight Sim's not gonna give you a departure procedure or anything like that. The only part of IFR procedures that they give in Microsoft Flight Sim ATC is just the approach. So that'll be interesting to see. I think by default, when you do it this way, it defaults to an automatic approach selection, which means that ATC will assign you one when you're nearing your destination. So we'll just see if that happens. And I just picked a random VOR to fly to en route. This is not any kind of realistic route, you know, from like ForeFlight or SkyVector or FlightAware or anything like that. All right, let's get our ATIS.
O'Hare Airport information, India 2100 Zulu. Wind 034 at 1 tree. Visibility 10. Sky condition clear. Temperature 24. Dew point 10. Altimeter tree 0.18. ILS runway 9er left, ILS runway 9er right, ILS runway 10 center, ILS runway 10 left, ILS Yankee runway 10 right.
Hey, Backyard Bob, what's up? Feels amazing, man.
Landing and departing runway 9er.
Is that a Twitch
runway
emote?
9er
Feels
right,
amazing,
runway
man.
10 center runway 10 left runway 10
Wow,
right,
that's
and
it?
runway 9er center. VFR
That's what I get for
aircraft
spawning in at
All aircraft
O'Hare.
back hold short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have India.
All right, we got India.
O'Hare Airport information India 210.
All right, let's
Ground
request our
Cessna
taxi. I'm going to cheat and turn on the taxi ribbon because I really don't feel like looking up an airport diagram right now. Okay, taxi ribbon is on. I think do I have unlimited fuel on? When I'm playing casually and I'm not taking it seriously, I usually turn a bunch of these options on. I've just been doing this recently just to make my life easier. Like auto mixture is on, unlimited fuel is on.
22 Kilo India Papa with India.
I used to
ready
never
taxi
turn any of those
IFR.
things on, and nowadays I'll just turn them on because I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. I'm just gonna. You got to customize the sim options to how seriously you're taking it that day, you know? Oh, wow. Got it. Easy. Love those realistic taxi
Taxi 2 and
instructions
hold
there.
short Runway 10 left via taxiway November 1 November Mike Cross runway 9er center Mike Cross runway 27 left Mike Golf Tree Golf 2 Golf Tree Golf 2 Alpha 1 Tree November 2 November Zulu Cessna
Service
Kilo
charge for the
India
172. Yeah. All right, cool. Now that we got all that taken care of. All right, I also set up flight level change mode in advance for 75 knots for our climb. All right, and let's just gonna hit a couple of these checklists through real quick just to make sure we're good. All right, the run up didn't do any of that. We're gonna skip this stuff. Sorry for those of you that are upset about unrealistic procedures. But I'm just gonna get to flying, and we can check out our frame rates here. It's kind of cool. I don't know how long that option is. Man, some of this stuff looks really like fuzzy almost. Why don't you see DLSS? Because it's part of the beta, so you have to opt in to download the beta. You can do that on both Xbox and PC. You can get the beta through the Xbox Insiders Hub. So you download that app, and that will let you opt in and download the beta. So the beta is public, so anybody can get it. All right, we got our nice taxi ribbon here. Our frame rate still looks like crap because we're in Chicago and I'm in Ultra. Yeah, those taxi instructions are crazy. I mean, I'm sure it's a really difficult thing to program accurately, but it's still really funny. You don't have to re-download the entire thing, Avatar. It's more like what happens when you get a regular update. But it will. I'm not sure how big the download was. I think it was more than a gigabyte. Yeah, you won't have to download the entire thing. And there is a chance that when you use the beta that you will have to download the entire game to roll back to the public, like full release when it comes out. But this is actually my first time opting in for the beta to try it out. But some people in Discord were saying that you can get this on Xbox as well. I know Xbox has been having some problems with performance since the last big update. Oh, you do have to reinstall it all for Xbox beta, Firefox says. Andreas, what do you mean by roadmap? Like, when is it coming out? If you're asking when this is when the beta is releasing, it's going to be, I think it's the 23rd of August. So we got about 6 or 7 weeks before this comes out. You know, overwrites the sim for everybody, but everybody can use the beta right now. Which this is a reason why I'm streaming it, is just because it's available to everybody. I also just heard a little weird audio like crackle that just happened, and I saw somebody comment about that on the forums too. You know, like I'm taking a risk basically by installing this. Like it could have tons of problems. It could make me have to reinstall the entire game. But you know, if you want to be like a little more safe about it, you could wait a week or so, see how people talk about it on the forums. Just go to the Microsoft Flight Simulator forums and look at all the beta feedback people are giving. You can see there, like, you know, if it's for you or not. Oh wow, there are those taxi instructions again. Oh, you're in a glider, Murdoch? I don't have any gliders installed, I don't think. It's gonna be really cool at the end of the year. The 40th anniversary edition. I think they're giving us 2 helicopters, 2 gliders. They're giving us the what? Airbus. They're giving us an Airbus as well, right? I don't fly the airliners, so I forget which model it is. All right, they want us to hold position.
Kilo India Papa.
GG808S is free and excellent. Oh, nice. I assume it's on like flightsim.to, things like that. Oh, the A310, that's right. Thanks, guys. Am I going to try the multi-screen changes? I'm not, because I did see that option. It's here under experimental. So you can add a new window. It's going to be complicated for me to kind of show that on the stream. I'd have to mess with my stream settings and stuff. But as soon as you hit this, it'll just open a duplicated window that you can, I think, adjust the camera angle of and resize. So for those of you with multiple monitors, I don't have multiple monitors. I just have a single ultra wide. So I don't actually need to use that myself. But yeah, I guess that's kind of their first. Did they tell me I can move yet? Hold position. All right, we're just gonna go here. We don't got all day. I mean, I kind of do have all day, but see if they yell at us. It's been solid on Xbox. HDR is broken. Random crash to desktop on startup. I think the first time I tried to run it with DLSS turned on, it made me restart the sim. And the first time I restarted the sim, it crashed immediately. But after that, it hasn't crashed again. That's the only thing I've noticed so far. Every time you load, re-download the deluxe premium core world updates. Yeah. Now you have to full reinstall. Oh no. Yeah. It's always a risk to install a beta. You know, who knows? It could just die right here on the stream, and I'll have to reinstall everything. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. It's cool that it's been solid on Xbox, though. I know that I don't have an Xbox, but I heard that people had a lot of performance issues the last update that have kind of persisted. So hopefully a lot of those have gone away. Smoother overall. Awesome. Actually, do I have multiplayer even turned on? Thought I had it on. Let me just double check. Traffic. Real-time online. Data. Multiplayer on. Everything on. Okay. What was the mod for the other aircraft? If you're asking about the NXi, for any third-party planes, if you have the beta running, for any third-party planes, so the ones that Microsoft didn't make themselves or Asobo didn't make themselves, you need to install the NXi mod if you want the NXi in those planes. They did tell us to cross the runway already in those in that novel of instructions, so we're just going to cross. Turning my landing lights on. Normally I would have like when I fly in the sim, or you know, on the stream and stuff, I try to show everything in the screen, like so you can see it and do it yourselves, like the taxi ribbon and stuff. I know it's kind of a lame assistance option for those of you that take it more seriously, but you know, like when I'm off stream, if I'm taking it seriously, I'm going to use, you know, ForeFlight, Navigraph. I'm going to pull up the taxiway charts and all that. It just, you know, the goal of this stream is really just to fly around a bit, see if the performance improvements are good, look at the new NXi updates, look at the new VFR map, that kind of stuff. Inevitably, somebody gets annoyed that I'm not following all the procedures like I'm a real pilot. So, to keep giving caveats so I don't get yelled at in chat. Third-party airport crashes are still there. Trying to think what third-party airports I have installed. What is this stuff doing on the runway? What the? Or on the taxiway. I did turn on there's an option for, I guess, when you get close to another plane, you know how it like fades, it like ghosts the plane, it turns it invisible when you get too close? I guess that's an option. I don't know if that was already there. But that's kind of nice just so, when you get super close to somebody, it doesn't make their plane disappear in an unrealistic way. Yeah, didn't check my note, Tim's. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I'm not sure if there are any TFRs on our route. I guess that's why you go IFR every time anyway, right? You get your clearance, you don't have to worry about as many things. Oh, that is a new Sim Update 10 option. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I can see how that would be jarring if somebody like flies through your plane in a Super Hornet or the Dark Star or something while you're en route. And they just suddenly fly straight through the cockpit or through your flight deck while you're there. What did they say? Continued taxi. Yeah, it's a good thing we didn't wait. Would have taken forever. Is the update available for all? Yes, it is. Let me see if I can grab a link while I'm taxiing in the background. Yeah, this is Sim Update 10 beta is public for both PC and Xbox. So I don't know how to do it on Xbox. People in chat maybe it can help because I don't have an Xbox, but I assume it's also the Xbox Insider Hub app that you install. I'm guessing it's the same on Xbox, but basically, at least on PC, all you have to do is go to the Microsoft Store. Well, if you have it through Microsoft, the Microsoft Store, and you go to and download the Xbox Insider Hub app and run that. And then you can see the available betas, and the Flight Sim, Sim Update 10 for Flight Sim is there. So you just opt in, you restart your PC, and then you go to the Microsoft Store app as usual to get the update for Flight Sim, and that'll have the update available for you. So it's just an extra step. You go to the Insider app, you opt in for the beta, and then you can download it. Yeah, and then for Steam, I think you find it in your Steam games list. You right-click on it and go to Properties, click on Betas, and then it has like a Sim Update Sim Update 10 beta in there. You just choose that, and then it'll update it, and then you launch the game. It's actually a little bit easier. I think the Microsoft Store version requires you to reboot first, but Steam, I don't think does. I think you just opt into the beta in the game properties. Wow, what is going on? It's like pulling super hard to the left. Do I have rudder assistance on? I hope I don't. That would be embarrassing. Auto rudder off. Okay, I just have checklist on. That was a little weird. It just pulled me to the left. Yeah, this is DirectX 11. DirectX 11, I was just reading on the forums that people, even in the beta, they said 12 is, even though it's better than it was before in terms of crashes and stuff, it's not, there's not a major performance improvement yet. So I just left it on 11 for now, but I, believe it or not, I have DLSS turned on right now, but we're in ultra settings at O'Hare in Chicago with all traffic and everything turned on. So my frames are around 20 most of the time right now. Yeah, William, you can turn the beta off just by undoing it the same way you did, the same way you opted in, you opt out. So on Steam, you go back into properties and choose no for the beta option. And then you go to the if you're on Microsoft, you go to the Microsoft Insider app and you opt out of the beta and then reboot again and then update this sim again through the Microsoft Store app. So you just do the opposite way, basically. You opt out and do the process again, and it'll pull the current public release version. Wind isn't gusting a new feature. Maybe, yeah, maybe there was a gust of wind. Yeah, it was suddenly pushing me really hard to the left. And we have a lot of traffic on too, so this is definitely a stress test being in O'Hare. Yeah, it looks like we're going back to the terminal. Well, we get to see all the liveries here from the Aerosoft Simple Traffic app. So I do have Simple Traffic on, so it gives you a bunch of liveries. It's just an easy way to get liveries instead of downloading them yourself. It's almost like having the liveries mega pack. Turn off VSync. Yeah, I have VSync off mainly because I have a G-Sync monitor. So if you have an NVIDIA card and the G-Sync monitor capability, then you're supposed to turn VSync off on everything because it conflicts with it. Hey, at least we got some nice jets to look at while we're making our way across the entire airport. Got a Delta flight, we got a Southwest in front of us, and Alaska right here in front of us. I have the add-on terminals too, or the jetways, I mean. So these jetways are pretty sure a mod that I have through the marketplace. Things look a little fuzzy for sure. I'm not sure if that's a DLSS thing, but there is some fuzziness going on. And if you guys can notice it, the screens are a bit blurry, which is also something people pointed out in the forums about DLSS is all the displays are a little bit blurry. When you zoom into them, they look fine. I mean, it's readable, it's legible. But yeah, it's definitely not as sharp as it is without DLSS. You'll be surprised to see me when I fly for a short while. We'll see. It matters if I have it. Maybe it'll just render you in as a Bonanza or something. Taxi to Indiana, then to Wisconsin, clear to take off runway 27. The blurring's DLSS artifact. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about like the fuzziness of some of the things. Like some of the like trucks and the jetways look a little fuzzy to me almost, but I know the blurring on the screens is definitely DLSS issue. Hopefully the YouTube quality is decent. I've run at a pretty high bit rate. I kind of maximize it. As soon as we get out of here, our frame rate will probably get drastically better. This is another benefit to flying GA and not flying airliners in the sim is you don't really run into you're not really at these giant airports often. Steam is requesting a beta access code. There are instructions on the forum. I didn't do mine through Steam. I did it through the Microsoft, because that's where I have mine. Yeah, when you zoom in, it's not too bad on the displays. Oh, G-Sync doesn't work in Flight Sim? I didn't know that. I'll have to check that out later. Whatever settings I have it on now, yeah, I have V-Sync off and I have G-Sync turned on in my NVIDIA settings. I actually run this windowed. I don't even run it full screen when I'm streaming since I have an ultra wide, so I run it in, you know, a 16:9 window size, so I can have chat and stuff on the side. And, you know, YouTube does support ultra wide, but I remember making an early video that was ultra wide and people didn't like it, so. Especially if you watch on like a TV or an iPad or, you know, some tablet or a phone. Should be no access code. Yeah, I'm not sure about the access code. Make sure you're choosing the Sim Update 10 beta. We got Alaska catching up to him. And I'm just following the rules here, which is making it take forever. Just taxiing slowly, not running through this Southwest flight. The liveries look great though. I mean, I'm rarely seeing these liveries just because I fly at tiny airports most of the time. Go YOLO, accelerate to takeoff speed on the taxiway. Yeah, this is we're actually crossing with them. Looks like we got a Virgin America flight or a plane over there to the right. And it looks like there's a Delta holding short or something at the other end of the runway down there. You need to update many things. Yeah, I had to update about 5 things in the content manager. It was like the two USA World updates were 2 of the things that needed to be updated. Are those planes about to take off at the same time? Or is this another this is just another taxiway? I mean, I'm so not used to being at a giant airport like this that these taxiways look like runways. All right, the Delta flight is up. I see Schwartz down there at the end of the runway. We'll see what he's flying. It's probably the Pelican, right? Yep, of course. Of course it's the Pelican. He's just here to troll people that don't like the spaceship in the flight sim. The nameplate mod, yeah, I have it linked in the description of the video. It's like, is it Chomsky's or something? Nameplate mod? It's linked there, and you can choose between different colors. So, but this green one is the best. This is like the green version 2. Shorts. Everything is fine. Everything is fine. How do you add simple traffic? Jimmy, it's a paid add-on by Aerosoft. But you don't necessarily have to pay for it. It's really just a collection of liveries. What you could do if you don't want to pay for something is just go download a set of liveries from flightsim.to. You can download them for free there. You just have to download each of them individually. So you have to, like, you know, find the Delta one, the Alaska one, the American Airlines one, or, you know, wherever in the world you're flying, whatever's normal. The Aerosoft one is just a convenient way to install a whole pack of the liveries. And, you know, it's updated regularly, so, or not regularly, I would say like every month or 2 they update it, and they add more liveries, and they make sure that it's matching them correctly. It just takes a lot of the work out of it, and I'm lazy, so I don't want to have to go and re-download liveries from flightsim.to all the time. I just like to, you know, open one program like Orbex or Aerosoft and click update and be done with it. So I try not to install too many things that require my attention, I guess. I think we're getting some of those gusts of wind again. It's like pushing me. I have almost full left rudder in right now. I'm banking into it as well. Putting some left aileron in because it seems like we have a gust of wind out of the left. It's I wonder if they'll ever make it so you can kind of tell what's going on the ground with the wind. Because, you know, the G1000's wind indicator is not going to tell us what the wind direction and speed is while we're on the ground. And we don't hear wind. And we're definitely getting a lot of wind from the left right now. I'm like fully deflected to the left. And I still need to rudder to the left to stay on the runway or on the taxiway line right now. So it seems like we have some strong winds coming from the south to our left there. I'm on Xbox, so I don't think I can do that. Yeah, you can't. There are some liveries available in the marketplace. I think it's like that by that Breedock 3D or whatever. I know people have mixed opinions on that developer, I think. But I'm pretty sure you can get some of the liveries in packs on the marketplace. So that should be available for Xbox. So just look up liveries in the marketplace. I don't know how much they are. They're probably like 10 or 15 US dollars for a pack of them. I think they might have multiple packs. My other left? I mean my left. I'm holding my left aileron totally down right now. Or at least I'm pushing I'm twisting the yoke all the way to the left. I have a stick in real life, so anyway, I'm pushing my stick all the way left. Holy crap, this is taking forever. This is insane. I'm never going to O'Hare again. We're here suffering with a... I'm gonna see if I can taxi faster. I actually tried to taxi faster, and the wind is just so crazy. Purchased the MB339. No. I'm not sure what that is. Is that a fighter jet or something? I'm not sure what that is. Wow, we're going way too fast. Oh, the wind is just pushing me to the right like crazy right now. I mean, I didn't actually read about the gust updates. If that is what they added, but it's definitely noticeable right now. I'm just fully left right now and barely getting back over. Yeah, we're driving to the next state. Yeah. You guys thought this was Flight Simulator? You were wrong. It's a American Truck Simulator, which is actually pretty fun. Oh, it's a trainer. Jet trainer from the aerobatic team from Italy. Oh man, that sounds fun. You guys know me, I'm lame. I fly the Cessna and the Grand Caravan like exclusively. Uber taxi simulator. And we've got a nice tour of the entire field of O'Hare pretty much here, so it's probably, is it even gonna let us take off? Look at this. There's 2 United Airlines flights lining up right now on final, it looks like, in front of us. Okay, maybe just one of them. Oh my god, we're still gonna have to cross all the way over there? Maybe? Good to see you posting videos and streaming again. It's been a while. Thanks, Jimmy. Yeah, I haven't posted one since the Pelican video, but I will make a video on all these updates, especially before Sim Update 10 comes out next month. But I will show you guys the NXi updates that are listed in the release notes. So there's a bunch of new stuff. Like, actually, I should have flown the Grand Caravan. I'll have to do another flight with the Grand Caravan because both radio altimeter and radar weather. Or weather radar, I mean, are in the update. So we can take a look at those. But this plane, I'm in the 172, so this plane does not have... doesn't have a radio altimeter, nor does it have weather radar on board. But we do have the VFR map. I think it's going to probably tell us to wait for these flights to go. Are they on top of each other? Is that what's happening? Oh no, the Alaska flight, I think, is behind the Southwest flight. So we're going to wait for this guy, apparently. We'll see what they say. Okay, we can finally go to the tower. Let's see if it gives us clearance here with the Southwest flight right in front of us.
Runway 10 left IFR to Kilo Delta Kilo Bravo.
Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa altimeter 30.18 wind 044 at 11. Cleared for takeoff runway 10 left.
All right, they cleared us for takeoff. Cool.
Cleared for takeoff runway.
All right, 3018 altimeter is still good. We're climbing to 6,000, which is their simple departure instructions. I got flight level change set for 75 knots. We could go higher than that if we want. And then I'm going to switch to heading mode. I'm going to move the heading bug over to about 100 for now. So that's the runway heading. The runway number is 10, so I'll do 100 and we'll sync it once we pull up here. All right, parking brakes off, landing light on, taxi light off, strobe light on, pump on, de-icing and pitot heater off because it's 24 degrees Celsius. Oh, we can do 0 or 10 degrees of flaps, I think. Just gonna leave it at 0. Probably have a million feet of runway here. Oh, is the Southwest holding short for us? It's like halfway on the runway. I don't know what's going on. I guess it was waiting for us the whole time? I have no idea. All right, let's get out of here. All right, mixture is rich, pump is on. Runway 10 right there. Why are we pulling so hard to the left right now? Wow. I have to give it a lot of right aileron right now because it's, wow. What is going on? There must be some crazy wind right now. Okay, yeah, it is. Maybe we wouldn't have taken off in this wind in a 172. So it's is that 12? I'll have to zoom in to look. There was a lot of, it was pulling a lot right there. Yeah, 17 knot crosswind. Maybe that wasn't the best runway for them to assign us. Or it's not, you know, it's not 17 knots of the crosswind component itself, but it's a 17 knot wind off our nose to the left. Wow. All right, we are up 500 feet. Wow, that was intense. I had to give it a lot of left aileron. Or sorry, right aileron and a ton of right rudder. Like way more than normal to get off there. That was not fun. SOC was straight a takeoff crosswind. Why did they assign us that runway?
Cessna Kilo India Papa, acknowledge last transmission.
All right, let's acknowledge your transmission.
625 Cessna Kilo India Papa.
All right, we're just flying runway heading. We're gonna have to make a U-turn here though. I mean, it looks great. Our frame rate is really bad, but we're in ultra. DLSS is actually on, so I mean, in a super busy airport like this, it's not doing us many favors, but we'll see how it goes when we get out of here. I mean, it looks incredible still. All right, let's contact ATC.
22 Kilo India Papa is at 2,700 feet, climbing 6,000 feet.
Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa, Chicago departure altimeter 30.18. Continue to Delta.
All right, same altimeter setting. All right, and then it told us to go on course basically. So let's make our left-hand turn. We're still climbing for 6,000 feet. We're passing 3,000. Altimeter's good. We can pitch up a bit more. I'm at 85 knots, but we can be down to 74 for our VY. We're just turning all the way around here. Wow, it's pretty choppy right now. I'm noticing the wind though. I don't know if you can see the kind of the wind just pushing me around quite a bit. And our flight plan is pretty, it's kind of whatever. It's just a random, all I did was put a en route waypoint to a VOR that's to our west. We're just going 30 miles to the west to DeKalb, or DeKalb, however you say it. All right, I'm gonna switch over to nav mode and arm the autopilot finally. It's gonna pitch us up a bit more, and it's just turning on to intercept our course. Yeah, the wind, we're gonna have a nice tailwind though. So if I turn on, let's turn on the wind option 1 so we can see both components. So if you're on wind option number 1, it gives us the crosswind and the, like, both the, what would you call it? Like the lateral and the, whatever front to back component is, it separates them for us so we can see what the crosswind component actually is instead of just this combined single direction wind speed. So yeah, 4 or 5 knots on the crosswind, and then we got a 10 knot tailwind from the back. So that's nice. Flaps are up, but we're still climbing, so I have it set to flight level change mode. So we still got about 1,500 feet to go. And if you use flight level change mode for your climb mode on the autopilot, you tell it what airspeed to maintain. So I gave it a target airspeed of 75. So it's pitching us up to maximize our rate of climb based on our best airspeed for the climb, which is, it's 74 in this. I set it to 75. We're just kind of climbing as fast as we can. Flaps are up though. I took off without flaps. Yeah, it's looking okay. So we'll level off at 6,000, which is the altitude they told us to climb to. Hopefully they don't tell us to climb to 18,000 or something like that. Or a flight level. Like sometimes they do that. Yeah, continue to DPA. So, okay, so they did say continue to DPA, which is awesome because this is the waypoint that we programmed in manually. So I know I probably mentioned this in all the NXi video, or a lot of the NXi videos I've made. I've mentioned that when you program in a flight plan or any changes to your flight plan in here, ATC doesn't know about it, but it looks like that is fixed in this sim update. So I loaded in at parking with no route, did nothing in the world map. All we did was load right to parking with no flight plan or anything in there. Programmed all this manually, this entire impressive flight plan of one waypoint, and then got our clearance on the ground. So it looks like that's working. So the next test, I guess, would be to change our destination and see if we get that as well. All right, climb and maintain 12,000. All right, we're still in the climb, so it's nice they gave us that before we reached 6,000, so we didn't have to reset anything. So I'm just using my shortcuts on my Bravo throttle quadrant here to roll us up to 12,000 feet. All right, so there's 11, 11, 9, 12. All right, so now we're set up 12,000 selected altitude. We're still pitching for 75. I'm gonna put our nose down a little bit, so that'll increase our speed. Sit nose down. Let's just go to 80. Make our ground speed a little bit higher. Navigraph icon on my toolbar. Yeah, I do have Navigraph and On Air. I almost never use it, mostly because I use ForeFlight a lot on my iPad, right below my monitor. So I like having something external instead of like built in, I guess. But Navigraph, I feel like it's a difficult decision to pick Navigraph or pick ForeFlight. There's lots of bonuses to each one. Yeah, Snakey, it worked. Yeah, we set a route within the GPS, took off, got our clearance from there, and they're actually reading back they told us to continue to DPA, which is the only waypoint I put in, so it's aware of our route. We'll do a test in a minute here to change our destination and see if we can change that with ATC. So anyway, with Navigraph and ForeFlight and those tools, obviously it matters how much you want to spend. Not everybody has like discretionary income. They can just throw hundreds of dollars at ForeFlight. If you're gonna fly, I'd say if you're gonna fly primarily in the United States and you're okay with using the FAA charts, that the ForeFlight basic plan, the $100 one, I think it's hard to choose between that and Navigraph. So ForeFlight has a lot more functionality to it. You have VFR maps, you have you can see traffic on it. You know, it's a real life app for pilots, right? It's used by tons and tons of, I don't know the percentage, but it's extremely popular for pilots. My partner uses it when she flies. I use it when I fly with her. As far as I know, especially for GA, ForeFlight is huge. I'm pretty sure if you work for an actual company, some of them have their own custom like EFB solutions and stuff like that. But anyway, from what I know, ForeFlight is insanely popular. So if you want to use the thing that real pilots are using, and you're maybe going to think about taking a discovery flight and being a real pilot, unlike myself, or you just want it to be as realistic as possible and use the things real pilots are using, even if you're not going to fly yourself, ForeFlight is the thing they use. Like, nobody is, I mean, legally they should not be using Navigraph, right? Navigraph is literally only for the simulator. Now, if you're only going to fly the sim, you're going to fly worldwide, and you want charts for the entire world, you definitely go with Navigraph, because for the $100 or whatever it is a year, you're getting global Jeppesen charts. Caveat is, yeah, for the sim only, not for real life. You get the moving map software. You don't get some other things though, right? Like, you don't get, I don't think you get weather and like synthetic vision and all that stuff. It's really just a moving map and charts. It's really good too, but you know, the big thing you get is all of those Jeppesen charts worldwide. If you were to buy Jeppesen charts just for the United States, I'm pretty sure it's what, $100, $120 just for those charts, just for the US. I'm pretty sure. So, whoa. All right, we'll acknowledge it, but we're not going to do it. Let's do this test really quickly where we change our destination. Oh, there's our traffic alert, actually, because of... there's no audible alerts or anything, but because Schwartz is... Is this Schwartz? Oh, I don't see a nameplate. I think... Oh, maybe it's not Schwartz. We're getting a little traffic alert there. I rarely see that, so it's cool to see it again. Oh, $200. Okay, there you go. Yeah, Volanta as well. Yeah, I know Volanta. I don't know. ForeFlight, I'm so used to using it. I just love all the features in it. It is so easy to just tap something, get the preferred runway based on the wind. Just get. And Navigraph has an iPad app, a tablet app as well, so you can do the same thing. I like both of them. I think the distinction is really: are you flying globally, and do you want Jeppesen charts? If that's the case, I think go with Navigraph. But if you're really set on using what real pilots use, and you're okay with FAA charts or paying more for more features, because there are a lot of features that you don't get for the base ForeFlight $100 one, like taxiway, like geo-referenced plates. So when you bring up an approach plate, it doesn't show where your plane is unless you pay for the $200 version. When you bring up the taxiway chart, it doesn't show where your plane location is in real time unless you pay for the $200 version. All that stuff is in Navigraph by default. You get everything. There's just one price to pay. So I think the potential of paying for the $200 ForeFlight is likely, because you probably want those extra features. But you will be using the thing that real pilots use, which is great. So if you do plan on flying in the future, or even as a passenger on a commercial flight, it's pretty awesome to connect to Wi-Fi and use ForeFlight and watch your route and everything. It's really cool. Anyway, I feel like I've been ranting about that, but you have to, you know, look at the difference between the two and figure it out. If you have $200 to spend a year, I would use ForeFlight. I think it's absolutely awesome. You won't have Jeppesen charts, you'll just have the FAA charts for the United States, but I would get ForeFlight if you fly in the US. And just deal with the FAA charts. They're okay. They're not as great as the Jeppesen charts. But they work for me. So, what do you use to hook up ForeFlight? There's an app called FS2FF. Let me link it in the chat. You just download this program from GitHub and you run it. It connects to the sim automatically, and then in ForeFlight, you just go to like device settings and you find the flight simulator as like a device basically. And you just do it once and it's set up. Okay, let's do the test now. Finally, I'm done chatting about ForeFlight, I guess. Let's do the test where we change our destination. So let's just find something. I'll just use the VFR map. So we were heading here to the west to DeKalb. Let's just change our destination down here to KLOT, to Clot. So you can just click on this map now. So this is part of the beta, and the working title team made these improvements to the VFR map. So you can now click around. There's a search bar at the top. There is a bug, it looks like, when you can't scroll this sidebar if it's too long. But anyway, when you click on something, you get all the information you would see in like the NXi or the G1000 if you go to the waypoint page. So you get the approach info, the frequencies, or sorry, you get the frequencies. You know, we can see there's an ILS for two of the frequencies are for ILS, so we know there's some approaches there for ILS approach. And then we get the METAR as well. So this is almost like a poor man's ForeFlight. I mean, if this thing gets improved more and more and more over time, this could take the place of something like a Navigraph. Like, I don't think they'll, you know, because of licensing and stuff, maybe you won't ever be able to pull up charts in this. But at least it's nice to like look up the ATIS really quickly instead of dealing with the buttons over here. So anyway, let's go ahead to KLOT. We'll just change our destination here, and then we'll see if we can change it with ATC. So I'm gonna go down here and hit clear, remove our destination. We're still en route to this waypoint here, so we're fine with autopilot. And let's put in CLOT. Okay. Enter, enter. We don't know our runway yet. And now if we open up the ATC window.
Cessna Kilo India pop-up, please expedite your descent 2,700 feet.
So this option came back up again, which is request IFR clearance. They still think we're going to DeKalb, but we're not. Alright, before we hit this waypoint, I'm going to sync my heading bug. Oops. Sync my heading bug here. What? Why is that not working? Oh, it did work, but it's zooming me out. That's weird. And go to heading mode so we don't make any unexpected turns. Alright, we're just going to acknowledge the assigned approach because we can't say we want a destination change right now.
Runway to approach Cessna Kilo India Papa.
Cessna Kilo India Papa contact.
Oh no. Now they're passing us off. Are we going to be able to request? No, we have to do the handoff first. Just bad timing. YouTube is telling me it would be a good time to insert ads right now. No, I'm not doing that. Quiet, YouTube. Alright, looks like we just need to make this handoff here before we can request our destination change.
Is passing 10,400 feet, descending 2,700 feet.
Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa Chicago approach altimeter 30.18 continue as planned.
Alright, so now we're going to request the clearance again. Oh man, no! Come on! Oh god. They just handed us off.
For Cessna Kilo India Papa.
Alright, let's try. So we passed that waypoint DPA, so we did not make the turn yet.
Chicago Center Cessna November.
Cool winds. Yeah, this is a bumpy flight. 13 knot crosswind right now. That is not great in a 172. And we got a little bit of a wind going on here. Okay, let's click it finally.
Chicago Center Cessna November 22
Wait, what?
India Papa requests destination.
Okay, it did it.
Kilo Lima Oscar
Request destination change.
Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa is cleared to Kilo Lima Oscar Tango Airport is filed.
Alright, let's start this turn. Alright, we'll read it back. I think they gave us the same squawk code as before, so that's good. Alright, so we can do destination change. Awesome. What was strange about that is as soon as I chose to request the clearance, another option appeared saying request destination change, but it did the same thing.
Altimeter 30.18 turn left heading 140.
Nice.
Proceed on course descent and maintain 8,000 feet.
Okay, turn left heading 140. Let's do that. Alright, so he says 140. It's suspended right now, so we're on heading mode. Why are we in suspend mode? Let's turn that off. Alright, we'll acknowledge. We have heading mode on, and we're going to turn nav mode on as well. He wants us to stay on a heading of 140. You can see that barely takes us towards our course. We're pretty far off the course. Alright, descend, maintain 2,700, visual runway 2. Alright, let's turn this down to 2,700. This will be a good opportunity. They gave us a visual approach, so this is a good opportunity to show what VNav can do now. You can now set VNAV altitudes for any altitude in your flight plan, or any waypoint in your flight plan. So we'll use that to get down to traffic pattern altitude for the visual approach.
Going to 127.075 Cessna, Kilo India Papa.
At least it's to show that what you can do with VNAV now. All right, so visual runway 2 down to 2,700 feet. Let's get that set up first. VNAV, or sorry, we're using vertical speed mode. I'll just go down at, what's our ground speed right now? 129, so 130 times 5 is 650, so we'll go down at, just go down at 600. So if you take your ground speed times 5, that gives you roughly a 3-degree angle of descent. So 650, we can't do 650, we can do 600 or 700, so I guess let's do 700, why not? Pull back the power a little bit, and now go over to Chicago Center. So they had us change to a heading of 140. So we can see here that's with our like little anticipation heading line here, our vector line. It's showing that we'll eventually make, you know, intercept our course. But we're just going to follow the rules and stay on the heading they said. And then I have nav mode. They also said proceed on course. So it's a little weird with Microsoft ATC. They'll say fly a heading and then proceed on course. So which one is it? I don't know. We're going to fly the heading for now, and then I have GPS mode on standby, or nav mode on standby. So once it gets close enough to that that course, it'll switch over automatically to hold us in, on that course. So once we intercept the magenta line, it'll fly on it. All right, let's get off that frequency. We'll give it 10 seconds, make sure we don't step on anybody on fake ATC, because we're nice. All right, so then we're heading right down here. So they're having us descend down to 2,700 feet. So let's look at the airport info. So we get an idea of the elevation. So you can either do that on the VFR map just by finding it and clicking it, because that's a new feature, or you can do it in the NXi. So what I could do is just come on here and click on... Oh, there you go. It's kind of invisible almost until I click the end of the line. So we can see the airport elevation right here, 671 feet. Or if you want to look that up on the NXi, you can just scroll down and highlight the waypoint and just hit enter. And that'll give you the same information. So this is the same information that the VFR map is showing. So here you can see 671 feet right there. And then we have a hard surface runway, 5,480 feet long. That's runway 9 and 27. For some reason, so every time I'm pushing, you can see every time I left and then right click, it's zooming me out. So I'm guessing there are some keyboard shortcut changes that I need to rebind. Anyway, there it is. Yeah, it looks like there are multiple runways. I'm guessing that's another runway. Anyway, they said to expect visual runway 2. So it looks like runways 2 and 20 are 6,500 feet almost. Hard surface runway. So they said to go to runway 2. All right, let's contact Chicago Approach,
Chicago
finally.
Approach Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa is at 9,100 feet descending.
We still have a nasty crosswind, so we're going down 700 feet a minute for 2,700 feet. All right, update our pressure, 3017. Continue as planned. Okay, so we're good now. Shorts. Oh, you have to head to bed? All right, man. Thanks for flying along for a minute. Nice Pelican you got there. Nameplate, my aircraft is invisible. Huh. The runway lights. No, that information is not on here, unfortunately. So that's that is something that's nice about, for those of you considering something like ForeFlight or Navigraph. I don't think Navigraph has lighting information unless you go look at the airport diagram itself. But in ForeFlight, it has a ton of information, so you can go through and look at each of the runways and tap into them, like in the UI of the app, and just see without having to pull up a chart. You would be able to pull up like the airport diagram chart and look at the lighting information in both cases, but it's a little quicker to get to it in ForeFlight. So if I pull up, I'm not sharing my phone on the screen obviously or anything. I wasn't planning on using ForeFlight, but I have it on my phone, so I'm just opening it right now. You can't see that I'm doing it, but You just have to trust me. So if I just go to airports, I'm just going to type KLOT. I'm tapping the airport name in ForeFlight. Now I'm just tapping runways. I'm tapping the runway they assigned us, which is runway 2. And right away it says that there are 4 PAPI lights on the left. It says it's concrete runway in good condition. It says the heading for runway 2 is 016, so I know that. And it says it has edge lighting of medium intensity, edge lighting. So I get all that information through ForeFlight just in their app without having to bring up any of those airport diagrams or charts or anything like that. So that's one of the benefits is, yeah, it's really quick to get to all of the information in ForeFlight. So, but, you know, it's $100 plus a year, so not everybody can, you know, use money on that. But if you can, I think it's pretty awesome. All right, so we're actually getting pretty close here. We're only 5 miles away, so we're going to be way too high. So this is, I just got a kind of lost track. We're only 5 miles away from the airport. They're having us descend to 2,700 feet. Haven't told us to expedite it or anything, so this is all my fault. We're not low enough. What does the new weather look like on the G1000? We can see there's new weather radar available. I'll take the next flight as soon as we land here. We'll switch over to the Grand Caravan so I can show you guys the new radio altimeter, and we'll also look at the weather radar. In the 172, we don't have either of those pieces of equipment on the plane, so we can't use them. But we'll look at the Grand Caravan next. Something I can show you though is let's change our destination again, just so I have some time to show you this feature. Let's just go out here to like C56. So let's change this. First, let's go to heading mode. I gotta figure out that bug, why it zooms me out. All right, we're in heading mode now, so it's not gonna change our flight, change our heading if I suddenly change our destination here. So let's just pick something else. What did I say? C56. All right, C56. Oh, where'd our line go? Oh, there we go. Well, that's weird that it's... Huh. I don't know why it's disappearing. Oh, I think it's just because I don't have an active waypoint, right? So let's go direct to... Or what I could do is menu, activate leg. There we go. All right, now it'll show us. All right, so I changed our destination here just to show you what we can do with VNav now. So normally, up until this update, VNav, you could only use it for an approach. So if you loaded an approach like an RNAV or an ILS approach, it would give you all of the VNav altitudes or the constraints at each waypoint you're passing through during your approach, right? So you know, if you've done an instrument approach, you have basically like altitudes that you have to be at each waypoint. So those would be listed for all of the waypoints in the approach procedure. But what you can do now is actually edit the altitude for any waypoint, and that includes the destination airport. So if you do that, you can use VNav for your descent to any of those waypoints at whatever altitude you put in as a target. Oh, also for an arrival. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, for arrivals as well. And did departures have them? I think even departure procedures showed the altitude constraints too. So what I can do now is just go over here, and this field is now editable. So what's really cool is this is our destination airport. We can put in a target altitude to use for VNav to descend to that destination airport. So if you're flying VFR and we're going to go do a traffic pattern around there, first thing I'm going to do is just find out the elevation of the airport. So right here, it's 781 feet, so call it 780. So if it's standard traffic pattern altitude and all that, we just add 1,000 feet for this type of plane, so 1,780 feet. So I want to be at 1,780 when I get to the airport. So what I can do is just go and put 1,780 as my target altitude here. So once I highlight it and roll the inner knob, it'll get into this edit mode, and I can just dial in 1780. And then hit enter. now this is a VNav eligible altitude. So we can use VNav to descend to this altitude instead of just descending with vertical speed mode or something like that. All right, so they're yelling at us because the airport's nearby.
Maintain present heading and altitude.
But we'll change our destination again. All right, so let's go ahead and turn on nav mode. We're just going to start flying towards the other airport. And we're going to request a destination change again for the second time.
Chicago approach Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa requests destination change to Charlie 56.
Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa is cleared to Charlie 56 Airport as filed. Squawk tree 165.
Oh, 4-flight basics 120. That's right. I wonder if it was 100 before. Maybe it's always been 120. You're right. So 120, 240. Yeah, it just goes up by increments of $120. Got it. Yeah, I have the second one because there's so many features like the moving map stuff, like to show where your plane is on a taxiway diagram or an approach plate. You don't get that in the basic version.
Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa.
Oh, they just went up. Okay.
56 Airport as filed. Squawk tree 165.
Cessna Kilo India Papa read back correct. Radar contact 3,700 feet. Altimeter tree 0.17 turn left heading 110 climb and maintain 11,000 feet.
11,000 feet. All right, we'll do most of that. We're not going to climb to 11,000 feet though.
Turn left heading 110 climb and maintain 11,000 feet Cessna Kilo India Papa.
All right, we'll just maintain 3,500 feet.
Contact Chicago Center on 127.6. Good day.
And they're passing us off yet again. I'm just going to turn on the AI flight assistant for ATC. Tired of pressing buttons. Copilot will take it over. All right, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on here. So I designated this as a VNav altitude, but I don't have a top of descent yet. I'm trying to find out why. So what this should be doing is setting this as our active VNav altitude and showing it in magenta over here, and then allowing us to use VNav to make that descent.
Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect vectors.
It could be because we're not yet on our course, so let's see what happens if we get on our course here. And I know I've had this the FPS on the entire time. It looks like, I think we were at 35-ish at some point. So I don't know if it's actually giving me a huge performance increase with DLSS on. They made a bunch of performance improvements anyway outside of DLSS, so I'm not sure if I've really noticed much of a difference. So does VNav work in Sim Update 10 for all planes? It depends on which avionics you're using. So with the G1000 NXi, VNav does work. I don't know about all planes or not. How it is right now with Sim Update 10, the NXi is in all Asobo planes by default. And if you want them in a third-party plane, you need to install the NXi from the marketplace. And I think I've flown the Kodiak. I flew the Kodiak a bunch of times and used VNav, so it definitely works in that plane. I'm guessing it's still on a plane-by-plane basis. But I haven't flown a plane where VNav did not work in the NXi.
Going to 132.5 Cessna Kilo India Papa.
All right, so we're almost on course. Let's see if we get our top of descent. So what should happen is that it should treat this as a VNav altitude. It's also in white though instead of in blue. So normally it's shown in blue after you edit it, or when it's eligible for VNav. We are turning on course right now, so I'm not sure why it's not showing up. Oh yeah, I could try VNav Direct as well, yeah. Yeah, VNav Direct says, I want to descend now, is what VNav Direct is for. This should be showing us an estimated top of descent based on that like 3-degree flight path angle. But right now, oh, you said why it's not working? Oh, it's a known issue. Heads up, the airport altitude edit had a bug, which is in this version. Oh, thanks, Matt. Okay, got it.
United 1501.
All right, so we can't show that off just yet, but so what would happen then? So once that bug is fixed, then this would be, I think this would display in blue in this case, and what it would do is just give us a top of descent to get down to the altitude that we specified. So yeah, if you're flying VFR, you want to use VNAV to get down to pattern altitude, you can just dial it in like that. So once that's fixed, I guess that'll be in there. So let's just go down ourselves to 1,700 feet and land. Let's see what our runways are here. So I'll go down and hit enter. We have 9 and 27. Let's use the VFR map. Actually, let's see if ATIS is even available there. So when I highlight it, yeah, we're not getting ATIS down here, so it looks like there's probably no ATIS available at this airport. It's just a small airport. But with this, I can just click nearby airports until I find nearby ATIS. Looks like this might be the closest one. Lansing. So over here, I mean, I don't know how relevant this ATIS is going to be for this airport, but over here we got 030 at 8, gusting 14. So let's just go with that, 030. We can fly by and look at the windsock, I guess. And we can just check what our current winds are in the NXi. Yeah, we have 14 knot crosswind. All right, let's go ahead and change to wind option 2. Or I guess we can do 3. So right now, winds are from 084 at 19 knots. So runway 9 should be good if those winds hold steady. So let's just set up for runway 9. So I'm just going to use OBS mode, dial in 090. Let's first go to heading mode so we don't turn abruptly. Put OBS mode on and change the course knob to 090. So that'll be the rough heading of runway 09 is 090. All right, so this is 085, 090. One more. All right, so 090 is set in. So now this gives us, let me turn this off. This gives us our extended runway line. So basically this is a giant runway. So we want to go to this magenta line, head in that direction. So let's turn our heading.
Climb and maintain 5,000 feet. Report runway in sight.
Cessna Kilo India Papa, I have the runway in sight.
Co-pilot's got it in sight. Is that it right here in front of us?
8 miles northwest of Charlie 56. Turn right heading 150 descend and maintain 2,800 feet.
Turn right heading 150 descend and maintain 2,800 feet. Cessna Kilo India Papa.
All right, they're giving us instructions too.
Oops. 22 Kilo India Papa, 8 miles northwest
turn right heading 150. So we're already heading 147. We'll turn right to 150. It's going to intercept a little faster. And what they say, descend to 2,800 feet. So let's do that. I'm using my Bravo to do this. 2,800 feet, vertical speed, 600 feet a minute. Pull out a little bit of power. All right, and she already announced for us. So we're just kind of, we're just doing this live. So we say traffic pattern altitude is like 1,700, 1,800, something like that. They're having us go down to 2,800 though, but that's just ATC. Where is the field? And did I look at what the surface type is? Hard surface, okay. So I'll be on the lookout for hard surface runway, not landing in grass today. I usually use the smart camera like this. Is this it right there? That might be it right there. It's so hard to see the run. I don't know what it's like flying in real life, of course, because I'm just a sim nerd, but the it's really hard sometimes to find the runways. Like I rely on the instruments so much and like the moving maps so much to get to it. I'm also going to switch to nav mode, so once we get to that OBS line here, this course, it'll just turn to intercept it automatically for us. And I actually think that these little icons are accurate, right? I'm pretty sure that the little line through the airport icon is accurate to the runway heading. So I could just rotate this 2 or 3 degrees to line up with it. So I think that'll be more accurate at 093 compared to 090. I would pull up ForeFlight, but I'm just going to focus on this. Oh, I did say the runway name. No, that was the previous airport. Anyway, we're going to keep this descending. I see the... is that it right there? Yeah, that's it right there. And the autopilot's turning us onto course just because I had it on nav mode, but we'll just turn that off and chop and drop as usual. Alright, I can put 1 notch of flaps down already because with the 172 you can do it at 110 knots or lower. The NXi sticks runway icon direction snap to 12.5 degree increments. Got it. Alright, I won't rely on that anymore. Bad Kip. That's what the real one does. Oh, that's cool. Not surprised that it matches what the real one does. You guys are just on it with all that work. It's crazy. It's really, I mean, it's really exciting. Can't imagine how exciting it is for the team for this to be in the beta and be what's in the sim now. And next month when it's out for real, it'll just be in everybody's hands whether they want it or not. They're going to be like, whoa. I can't imagine, like, for anybody that hasn't used it yet, what it's going to feel like when all of a sudden that's, you know, that's what they have. It's going to be awesome. All right, so we got a little wind off the nose to the left. How many knots do we got? It's at 11 knots right now. Pump is on. I'm gonna put the second notch of flaps down. I think we'll just do 2.
500.
All right, 500 feet. Just gotta keep it aimed a little nose left to compensate for the wind. We have the little green crosshairs on the MFD I can also use to keep it lined up with the runway. Oh man, the wind is crazy right now. Yeah, they definitely changed a lot with the wind. Like, I feel these gusts. Alright, gotta keep the nose pretty far left. Yeah, the gusts are much more challenging than they were. Whoa. Oh man, that was a little shaky there. Almost went off the edge. The wind has definitely been changed. That was a lot of compensation there at the end. Way more than I'm used to, which is awesome. I mean, we're playing on like hard mode now. Between that and all the propeller dynamics they introduced in the last sim update, that was pretty crazy. Yeah, I was using quite a bit of rudder there. All right, taxi light on. Let's get off the runway. Isn't the 172 that has the new wind dynamics? Yeah, it is. The 208 and the 172, I think both have the wind dynamics in there now. All the new propeller dynamics and all the left turning tendencies and all that stuff. When they showcased that, I was just like, my mouth was just wide open watching them talk about all that on that dev update. It was pretty crazy. A side slip. I was okay on the... I didn't really need to lose any speed on that, and I didn't need to really drop faster than I was. I was kind of a little low, I think, so if I slipped, then I would have been losing altitude more quickly. But at the very end there, I did need a lot of left rudder. The gusts were just kind of crazy. I'm gonna go park real quick, and then I'm gonna load in to it. We'll do another flight, but we'll do it in the Grand Caravan this time, so we can check out the weather radar and the radio altimeter. Oh, treetop. Yeah, you just mean to line to Just to line up with the runway. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I was correcting quite a bit more with my ailerons at the end there than my rudder. I was definitely doing a lot of... I was banking more than I was just using my rudders there. But the gusts, I mean, that's... Compared to what it was before, that... Like, the effect it's having on the plane seems to be just drastically increased. So I'm guessing it's much more realistic now. And I feel like I was playing on easy mode before. Sim Update 10 sees all the stock Asobo aircraft config files unencrypted. People can fix the inaccuracies. I think so. Yeah, I think the flight models can be modified now by anybody. So I have a feeling that yeah, we're gonna see a bunch of mods come out on like flightsim.to, just like fixing things in planes. Yeah, the gear is on the ground. Oh, sorry, Jimmy. I know you asked that before. No, I haven't flown the Honda jet. I tend to not fly any jets. I just stay in the little slow planes because I'm relatively a newbie. So the low and slow ones are still my style. But I've played around with the CJ4 quite a bit because the Working Title team has a mod for that. I flew that for like a week or two for fun, just, you know, off stream and stuff. I think I did one stream with it, embarrassing myself, I'm sure. But yeah, it's really fun. I mean, it's much more unforgiving than something like this when I'm coming in on final, though, that's for sure. I always found myself like too low and too fast in the CJ4. Thousands of hours of videos. I mean, relative to people in the simming community that have been doing this for decades, I feel like a total newbie, yeah. All right, turning everything off. I just did the shortcut, what is it, Control-Shift-E to get the engine off. All right, cool. Hour and 16 minutes in the books. You mostly fly the Diamond and other GA aircraft too. Yeah, I think mainly... I don't want to take things too fast, even though I've been simming 2 years now. And I started with the X-Plane. So yeah, what was it? Was it 2 years ago that Flight Sim came out next month? Is that the 2-year anniversary? Or is it 3? Oh my God. I think it's 2, right? Anyway, yeah, I mean, relative to people that have been simming for decades, I'm a total newbie. Okay, so let's do the 208 now and just check out we'll check out the new features in the NXi. I could also do like the Kodiak or what else has a radio altimeter and weather radar in it? I'm sure like, well, the King Air doesn't use the G1000, so it's not that. I think the Bonanza and the Baron and the DA62 all have it as well. Pretty sure it's 2 years. Yeah, it's just, we've all lost so much time to, thanks to the pandemic. I just feel like we've fast forwarded in time here, right? So I always forget how many years it's been. 2020, yeah, the clue is in the name. Yeah, I don't call it 2020 anymore. It just seems so weird. It's because, you know, the official title is just Microsoft Flight Simulator, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, that's true. Clue is in the name. Okay, where do we want to fly? So that was, we flew in Chicago. You know, I'm in California, so I fly in California a lot. It's good to fly around in Florida for once. Now let's not go to Orlando. Let's go to somewhere that's smaller just to see the frame rate. I mean, I think it's just going to take some time for me to figure out how much, oh, the Rockies. KRIX. What's KRIX? There is no KRIX. LTIX. KISM. Orlando. Okay, that's in Florida. All right, so we'll do the Grand Caravan this time. I think I have scenery at Arcadia. Oh, the question is, are we going to find any weather here? Let's change here the filter to precipitation. Oh yeah, we got some good weather going on here. Let me take this out for now. Nice, we do. Awesome. So let's fly north then through this, through what other weather system is going through here. Where is this, Ocala? 24-minute flight. Is that long enough? Gainesville? Just kind of picking randomly. All right, that's a half an hour. All right, let's choose. We'll just choose this. Even though we can do this in the sim now, I'll just pre-program it just for the sake of time. And yeah, we'll start. Let's just start on the runway. It's going to be bad and start directly on the runway. I feel like, feel bad whenever I do that, but whatever. It'll save time. It depends on how long you have to taxi, yeah. Dude, that was the longest taxi. I swear, we were taxiing for like 20 minutes at O'Hare, right? Too flat, Aspen. All right, we'll have to do a third flight then. Depends on how long. Yeah, I'm looking outside here in Orlando. You definitely have weather. Yeah, it looks like there's a bunch of storms or something happening there right now.
Kissimmee Tower Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa at runway 24 ready for departure IFR to Gainesville.
Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa altimeter, tree 0.021227 at 14. Cleared for takeoff runway 24.
Cleared for takeoff runway 24 Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa.
Oh, do a flyover Disney? Is that on our route? Oh man, I would have to look up where it is and program in a GPS coordinate on the world map to get that going. Unless you guys think I can eyeball it from here. Wait, Orlando, that's Orlando VOR. I'm not very familiar with Florida. Oh, there's Orlando to the north. Not even sure we'll be able to see Disney mattering the weather. So, let's see. So what's new? We're on the runway. I'm going to be bad and just sit on the runway while I do this. But what you can do is, yeah, here we go. Is our weather radar. So we have traffic map. We had this before, but now we have weather radar. So this is for the onboard weather radar that's on the Grand Caravan. So it's off. I can hit mode and turn it on. Caution, activating radar on ground. I assume that could cause some sort of, maybe it causes interference with other aircraft or something if you turn it on the ground. I'm not actually sure why, but it seems like it's a bad thing to do. I see a little bit of weather right there. So once we turn, we'll be able to see it. New VFR map. Yeah, I'll bring that up. No problem. All right, so I set the altimeter. They gave us our climb to instruction when we got here. Climb to maintain 7,000 feet. We'll do that. Slow roast the ground crew. 7,000 feet. I noticed with DLSS on, there's like this weird, like, if you watch the numbers when they're changing, sometimes oh no, it's only when I'm zoomed out. Okay. When I'm zoomed out, it was making this weird, like blurry, it was being kind of blurry while the numbers were changing at this zoom level. See, like that? Kind of see they're all kind of ghosting together a little bit. But I do have DLSS on right now. All right, climb and maintain 7,000 feet. Flight level change mode. Let's climb at, our VY is 95. Let's do 110. A little faster ground speed. Heading mode is on. Sync the heading bug to straight ahead. We're on runway 24. All right, landing lights are on, strobes on. Good, parking brake off. And then our flight plan, let's see, once we take off, we're gonna have to make a U-turn around here to go to the north. Radar on the ground, you're microwaving the ground crew. All right, let's take off. This plane also has the new propeller and wind dynamics and stuff. All those new physics. I think the Grand Caravan was the first one to get it, I think. All right, we're already at a rotation speed. Man, the Grand Caravan's so nice. Definitely not going to get tossed around like we were in the 172. All right, we're pitching up for 95. Or it's not 95, is it? Yeah, it is 95.
Good day.
ATC will send you into the clouds. Yeah, we're ready for it. I mean, we want to go in so we can see the weather radar. So I'm going to go back to the weather radar screen here.
Going to 119er decimal for Cessna Kilo India Papa.
Alright, flaps are finally up. That's a little late, maybe. I'm just trimming us out here for 95 or so. Yeah, the clouds look really good right now, right? This is with DLSS on. I have it in quality mode. 35 frames a second is pretty good. I'm running it on Ultra right now just to test out DLSS. Honestly, I mean, I haven't noticed a giant difference in using it. I feel like I expected more of a difference, but maybe I'm just not noticing. I mean, we are running an Ultra, so that's 200 on the level of detail for the terrain as well. Everything is on Ultra. The only thing I turned off is motion blur. Just turn that off completely. Alright, I'm going to turn on autopilot. We're going to swing our heading bug all the way around to get on course. So we're moving the heading bug down here to intercept that broken line. Then I'm going to hit nav button, so we get GPS mode is on standby, so as soon as we get close to the course, once we swing around, that'll take over. Alright, we're still climbing up for 7,000 feet. I set the altimeter by hitting B on my keyboard before we took off, which just automatically sets it. Man, it looks really nice here. I mean, whenever you fly near clouds, like, I don't really like flying in areas that are completely clear skies. It just, the sim, it doesn't do it justice when you're flying in just completely clear weather. Dude, look at that cloud. So the weather radar, just like NexRad, you know, it's going to show us actual, it's basically going to show us weather systems like precipitation, not clouds that aren't dropping rain or snow or sleet or anything like that. So now that we're turning towards this nasty weather, we can see how nasty it is. So here we have a color-coded, basically the level of intensity of the weather. So you can see a little blip of yellow in certain spots, but it's mostly green. And this is in the horizontal mode, so let's see. Right here, if you hit bearing, this turns on this teal line that just represents, you know, our current bearing, our current heading, just to make it easy to know if you're heading towards the weather system in front of you or not. This cell, this layer of clouds, this precipitation, however you want to call it. I'm not a weather expert, unlike real pilots who are pretty much weather experts. But we can also change to vertical mode down here and see if we're above or below the weather. And again, we can turn on this tilt line down here. So this is similar to the bearing line, but it just shows, you know, basically just a helper so we can tell if we're above or below the systems in front of us. Yeah, this is new in the beta. So this is new as part of the next Working Title G1000 update. But the G1000 update is the new default in all of these Asobo planes. So you don't have to install the G1000 if you're flying an Asobo plane, or the NXi. It's in them by default now. So as part of the Sim Update 10 beta, the NXi now has the weather radar screen right here. So you just get to this by rolling the inner FMS knob, kind of like how we changed to traffic map. So it's here under the map page. So as long as you're on this map page here, you just scroll the inner FMS knob to get down to weather radar. And so if you're flying a plane that has actual weather radar installed, the actual equipment, we can see that right here. This guy right here on the Caravan. And the Kodiak also has a similar looking one right here. So because the Caravan has its own onboard weather radar, we can get to this screen. If it doesn't, like, you know, the previous flight we were in the 172, it does not have its own weather radar installed, so we don't have this available. But because we're in the Grand Caravan now, we do. And we're flying into some nasty stuff right now. So it looks like a nasty cloud, but it looks like we're not going to be flying through rain though. I'm not an expert on how these weather systems, you know, are detected and stuff like that, but my understanding is both NexRad and the onboard weather radar, it's detecting precipitation, not just clouds. It has to be a cloud that's actually producing precipitation, like that is like dense enough where there's water falling or snow falling. I think some of the newer ones even detect like lightning and stuff like that, right? Anyway, not an expert, I don't know, but basically it's more worrying if we're flying through stuff that shows up on NextRad or on the weather radar than stuff that does not. So up ahead we have this cell, and there's some yellow, like moderate precipitation in there, I guess, so it would be wise for us to avoid that. So we can just use this to steer around weather when it's on our course. And then we can also check the vertical side to see if we'll be above it in time. So it looks like we are above it mostly already. So let's see, we're very slightly above it at 7,000 feet. There has to be water droplets in the cloud for the radar to see it. Gotcha. Man, the clouds do look really good. I know they said they made some improvements to the vertical rendering of the clouds. I mean, I've pretty much always thought the clouds have looked amazing, with the exception of when I think they fixed it recently where they kind of got pixelated and like fuzzy looking when you got close to them. But I mean, look at the ones right next to us. Like, this looks really, really good. It is on Ultra right now, so I pretty much always have the clouds on Ultra, so no matter your preset, I would recommend whatever you can do to put the clouds on Ultra. Like, whatever has to give for that to happen, you should put the clouds on Ultra. Better shadows, yeah. And I have DLSS on right now too, so if there's, you know, it could potentially be even better looking. Let me turn DLSS off. We were running at about 35, the low 30s in our frames. Let's go back to the traditional anti-aliasing. We're still at about the same frame rate, so I'll have to play more with DLSS, but to me it seems like DLSS is not doing as much as I expected it to. But I know they also made a ton of other performance improvements to get back to like a pre-Sim Update 9 level of performance. So I think we're just seeing, you know, the combination of both of those things. So yeah, I'm going to continue to play with DLSS, see what it does for me. I tend to have it on in every game that supports it. You know, if I don't see a problem visually, I usually keep it on. The biggest thing, I know I mentioned this a few times already, people on the forums have pointed this out. When you have DLSS on, these displays look a bit blurry, even if it's in quality mode. So if you want these to be really sharp, it looks like you need to keep DLSS off. But it's not too bad. I mean, it's hard to read it at this zoom level anyway. But you know, if you're running on a big flat screen TV or something like that, maybe it's easier for you to make these things out. So in that case, you know, DLSS might be something you want to avoid. They've been working on the clouds on the back end. Notice they've been looking better and better lately. And they just, yeah, they look so good. All right, so yeah, so we're above all these clouds coming up. So as you use the range knob here, matters which mode you're in, but in horizontal mode, obviously it's just changing the range, like how far out you see. Goes all the way up to 320 nautical miles, or you can dial it all the way down to 10. And then in vertical mode, it does a combination of the range and the altitude. So in this case, at 10, it changes the altitude, a positive and negative, to 15,000 at this marker here. And as you change it, you can see it goes to 30,000, 60,000. But that's why this little teal line you can turn on down here with the tilt button right here is useful. And it's useful in both modes, just so you can, you know, you don't have to draw the line with your eyeballs or with your brain. You just see it there. So it's a little more clear whether you're above or below the weather that's in front of you. And I guess I should talk to ATC.
Jacksonville Center.
Now that it's been quiet and just a nice view out the window, let's interrupt that with some ATC.
So if you do
Okay, continue as planned. All right, no altitude change, it sounds like. There we go. 10,000. No icing. It's 14 degrees Celsius outside, so... what did he say? 14,000 feet? 10,000 feet. All right. Climb and maintain 10,000. Acknowledge that.
Climb and maintain 10,000 feet Cessna, Kilo India Papa.
All right, we'll use flight level change mode again. Let's go 120 knots. All right, so they're having us go up to 10,000. 10,000. Yeah, no icing, but it's not even cold enough, right? We need to be down. When does icing actually start? I think it can start slightly at like, is it? I know pitot, like the pitot heat you usually turn on. It matters the plane, but I think you normally turn that on when you're at like 3 to 5 degrees Celsius. And I'm pretty sure, can't icing happen slightly above 0? So like 2-3 degrees Celsius flying through clouds. Specific clouds will cause icing. I mean, it's not, I don't think it's exact. You don't just look at the temperature and say, oh, it's 0. Therefore, water freezes at 0. And therefore, that's when icing can occur. I think there's a kind of a more of a general rule you turn it on for icing. I'm sure it's in the POH. But luckily for us, it's 11 degrees Celsius right now. 0 and negative 15. I'm guessing in the POH, it will give you a number above 0 just as like a safety margin. All right, so let's check horizontal mode again. So we're above all of these, which is nice. So you can see, yeah, this is just super useful. Like if you're just dodging, you're dodging weather, you're dodging rain. If you're on VATSIM and stuff like that, and you have more realistic ATC capabilities, this is where you could, you know, request to deviate from your course slightly a few degrees left or right for a certain amount of time to dodge weather that's coming up so you don't have to deal with it. So it's pretty cool. For those of you that fly on VATSIM, I think this is really nice. With the new DLSS support, will I instantly get better performance or do I have to tweak settings? In theory, you just get better performance. So all you have to do, Matt, is go in the beta, of course, or when this comes out next month, you just go and change the anti-aliasing option right here to DLSS. And then it gives you 4 different options here. So quality, balanced, performance, and ultra performance. So these basically correspond to what resolution it's going to reduce the base game to. And then it figures out everything after that to make it look like it's a higher resolution. So quality, there's a percentage, like a rendering quality percentage associated with each of these. So I don't know what they actually are, but quality may be something like 75% of your resolution is what it's actually rendered at. And then they apply their machine learning stuff, all their AI, and they make it look like 100% resolution. Whereas ultra performance may take it to 50% of your resolution and then upscale it. So you'll get an even bigger performance boost with visually it looking nearly identical. So yeah, just play around with the settings, see what kind of frame increases you get. So I'll put it back on quality for now. I haven't noticed too big of changes yet. I mean, I've only been flying it around a couple hours. At the beginning of the stream, I did test it out with... I did test it out by just loading into Chicago. Okay, we're making our left turn here. I did test it out by loading into Chicago and seeing just with everything on Ultra what the change was. And I didn't see much of a difference between DLSS on or off. But that was just sitting on the ground. I don't know. I think... And I'm running a 3080, so it might just be... Some people in chat were talking about this earlier, where basically I'm CPU limited more than I am GPU limited. So for me on a 3080, it might not be a huge difference. But for you, yeah, with the GTX 970, assuming that card supports DLSS, yeah, you would hopefully get some really good performance improvements. Oh, 2000 series or above. That's what I was thinking, yeah. So you don't have it on the 970. Yeah. It is a newer thing. But I had a, what did I have before I got lucky when the 3080s came out and got my hands on one? I like spammed an order at Best Buy. My friend woke me up at like 7 in the morning. He called me. He's like, get on Best Buy right now. Quick, order a card. I got really lucky and got one. But I was running a 2060 Super, I think is what I had before that. So I guess what you could do is find, yeah, if it's still impossible to get one of those newer cards, I know newer ones are coming out all the time. Like, I didn't even know that. Whoa, there's a weather change for us. All right, that was a little abrupt. RTX card for DLSS? Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to Google it, so I guess you guys probably know better than I do right now. Whoa, their weather is changing again. All right, we're back. Now we're not above the clouds. We might be a little above the clouds. We're cutting it a little close here. Maybe a CPU upgrade next. I actually have a 5900X. I just upgraded that, I think the end of last year. It's supposed to be like the best one. I don't know. I mean, it's probably not now. But yeah, I have a 3080 and a 5900X, so can't get too much better than that as far as I know. What's our temperature now? We're still at 10 degrees Celsius, so we don't have to worry about icing. But we are, looks like maybe we have some rain below us. I did turn DLSS back on now, so actually I'm curious between this, so we see these clouds look pretty, they look kind of really soft, and then going back to turning DLSS off, I wonder if we'll notice the quality difference. Maybe a little bit. I feel like they're a bit smoother without DLSS on. I don't know, I mean the differences are so small that, you know, if you're having frame rate issues, try DLSS. If you hate the blurry text here with DLSS on, don't use DLSS. You see, it's just gonna change for every person in every situation, so. I do tend to turn DLSS on in every other game that I play that supports it though. At the least, maybe it's giving my GPU a little bit of a break, so. Oh, the VFR map, yeah, sorry about that, Horst. Yeah, my bad. Alright, yeah, here's the VFR map. Yeah, so the Working Title team made some improvements to the VFR map. So there is a known bug with it where you can't scroll the sidebar, but what you can do now is you can click on any of the waypoints to bring up the information about that waypoint, so mattering what it is. I think if I zoom in enough, I can click, yeah, you can click like these RNAV waypoints, you can click on VORs, you can click on airports. The bug is that this normally could be scrolled up and down. It looks like you can't scroll it now, so you just have to make the window bigger. If there's a METAR, you'll get the METAR at the bottom of this list. You get all the frequencies, you get all the runway information. Airport elevation is up here at the top. Now let's see if we can find a VOR. If you click on a VOR, it'll give you the frequency as well. I need to find a, let's see, to find a more major airport over here somewhere and find a VOR. It's in Orlando to our south. It's over here somewhere. Am I blind? Where? Oh, well, whatever this is huge. So let's see if we can find a VOR at this airport. Doesn't want to load it in. But anyway, if you click on a VOR, it'll give you the VOR. I think there's some in South Florida. There's a bunch of them. It'll give you the VOR frequency as well. So this is a really good alternative to using the NXi screen itself to look up this info. So you can look all the same info up on the waypoint screen here. So if you get a waypoint and then type in a waypoint. So I'll just type in LAX for now. Then it'll give you all the information from the database about that waypoint. So this is pretty much the same thing, right? You get all the frequencies, you get all the runway information. You know, you have to like scroll through it here on the screen. But here you get it in a list format. And then what's nice is you get the METAR though over here as well. You don't get the METAR in this view. You can only get the METAR if you highlight it here. So then you can get the METAR down here on your highlighted waypoint. And then what else can you do with this? I think there were a bunch of bug fixes with it too. And then there's a search at the top here. So if you type in, the airport name, you can just get it and go straight to it. I think you can type in anything. Like I can just type in, like Seal Beach VOR, right? Yeah, here's a VOR. Get the frequency. So you can just look things up really, really quickly. Oh, easier to find them zoomed out. Yeah, let me... How long do we have on this flight? Alright, we got a ways to go here. 22 minutes. Yeah, let's try to find a VOR. But yeah, it will, it'll just show you the VOR frequency when you type it in. I guess I just did one, so I just typed one in. But yeah. It's like the start of like a almost like a mini Navigraph, a mini 4-flight. Adding new features into it like this is awesome. I don't know, like, I know there's like a lot of legal restrictions for them putting in things like charts and things like that. So I don't know if we'll ever see charts in here, but you know, at least we have like these nice features where we can just click around and look up info really quickly like this. It's pretty cool. All right, there's a VOR right there. So there's a LAX VOR. Santa Monica VOR. Where is Seal Beach? I should know. Thought it's is it down here? Here it is. Seal Beach. Anyway, yeah, it's nice. Charts would be one of the best additions. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a legal thing, like where a mod can do it, but Microsoft can't do it. All right, did I miss any features? Oh, radio altimeter, yeah. Oh, why am I in suspend mode? Not sure why I was suspended. Oh, because we're flying to our last waypoint, that's why. Yeah, that's our last waypoint, so it's in suspend automatically. Okay. We're just going to wait for them to give us an approach. I guess until then we can take a look at the beautiful weather radar. Someday, the only thing that I want in the NXi next is for pressing and holding the clear button to work. We'll see if that... I'm sure that'll happen at some point inevitably, but I'm pretty sure there's some technical limitation why it can't happen yet. But you know, in time, hopefully that'll happen, because it's... If you press and hold clear, there's a little thing here that says default map. So when you do that, it'll take you back to this screen right here, no matter where you are. But because once you get deep into certain pages, like say you're over in like a waypoint page in here selecting a frequency or something, and you're like, I want to get back to the map, you have to, you know, unroll your way back to it. But someday. Yeah, clear. Yeah, it takes you back to the default map view. Oh, it's possible now? Yes! Alright, I'll make a recurring... hey Siri, set a recurring reminder every day to complain about not having the clear button working in the NXi, okay? Sweet. Yeah, that'll be really nice. Just because how many things there are, like, you know, before it didn't matter as much, but now with all these new screens and features in the NXi, it's getting so thorough and realistic that every single release, it's, you know, it's more and more nice to have, you know? Oh, I triggered yours. Sorry. I won't say the S word. My bad. Sorry, I just set that reminder to like a bunch of people's phones. Hey, Matt. What's new with the NXi? Radio altimeter support, radar weather support, or weather radar support if you have onboard weather radar like this. You can use VNAV at any altitude in the flight plan. You can designate it for VNAV. So I could go here. Let's see. This is at 133 feet. So I say we want to be 1,600 feet when we get there. I can go down here and set 1,600 feet as my VNAV designated altitude, and then use VNAV to descend to that waypoint instead of having to rely on a procedure. And not the working title, or not the NXi, but the working title team also made improvements to the VFR map, so you can click waypoints to get all the information about them. There is a bug. You can't scroll the sidebar right now. And actually, the VNav thing has a bug right now too, but hopefully we'll see an update for those things, at least before release. But yeah, you can click around to waypoints to get frequencies, runway information. If you extend the window like this, you can get the METAR if there's one available. So yeah, you're getting like a mini Navigraph, a mini 4-flight almost, right in the map. So yeah, there's some awesome stuff. All right, here's our approach.
Present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 29er approach via Oscar Charlie Foxtrot transition. Clear to Oscar Charlie Foxtrot.
We have 2 Oscar Charlie Foxtrots, and they have 2 different... Okay, one of them has a crazy looking kind of reversal in it, and one does not. We'll just go to the IAF one. All right, so now what we can do is show... And radio... Oh, sorry. So the radio altimeter works now too. So minimums here. If you have a radio altimeter or radar altimeter in your plane, you can use RA, so radio or radar altimeter. That shows your height above the ground in AGL. I think it's when you're under 2,500 feet. I'm just going to set this to 200. I'll verify it, but because it's an ILS, usually they're 200 feet AGL for their minimums.
Expect ILS runway 29er approach via
so I can just set my AGL minimum here to 200 instead of looking up the barometric altimeter, the MSL value, right? And setting a baro altimeter at whatever it is, 350 feet or 5,000 feet if you're in Colorado or whatever that is. You can use your radio altimeter instead and use radio altimeter minimums as well. So we'll do that. And we're going to activate this because they cleared us to the initial approach fix, so we'll turn for that right away. VNav is coming to, so calculate top of descent. Yep, it's been on NXi. Yeah, like Matt's saying, it's been there since version 1 or version 0.1. So now, yeah, you can edit your altitudes on any waypoint. You could also edit them previously on the altitudes in the database for the approaches. I think you could edit those as well to override them, but now you can set it for any waypoint. So if we were not using an ILS approach on this and we're just flying VFR, you could even just edit the VNav altitude for your destination airport. So say my last waypoint was just KGNV, I would scroll over to the altitude just for my destination airport, set, say, the pattern altitude for that airport that I want to get down to, and then use that with my VNav descent on the autopilot. So I could use like, I could just hit VNav direct to, which is this button right here, to say I want to descend now and let it handle the descent for us. Or I could wait until the pre-calculated top of descent like you normally see and use VNav starting from that point. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. I guess there's a bug though in the beta. It's not working right now. I don't know if it's just for the destination airport, but they're aware of the bug, so it is a beta. So there's a bug with that, and then there's a little bug with scrolling the sidebar in the VFR map. That's all I've noticed so far, though.
Jacksonville Center American Tree 2 tree is passing 13,000 feet, descending 5,000 feet. American Tree 2 tree, Jacksonville Center altimeter tree 0.0 tree. Continue to YAGGL as planned.
Oh, just the destination airport. Awesome. So I guess I could show it on an en route waypoint right now if I wanted to. Our top of descent's right here, but actually let me see if I can do something quickly to show it. Say we were gonna go to 24FA en route. So if I add in another waypoint, yeah, I can just go and edit the altitude for this waypoint. Oh, did I put in? What did I put in? Oh, there it is. It's changing this all around. I'm confusing it here. It thinks we're going to the airport first. So let me do direct to 24FA. All right, so now we're going direct to this, and then if I edit the VNav altitude here, what are we at? 10,000 feet? We're at 10,000, so I'll put in, like 8. Oops. 0. There's 7,900 feet. So I just put in 7,900, and you can already see top of descent's calculated by the default, 3-degree flight path angle. Top of descent's in 1:40, And so that will let me use VNav to get down to 7908 feet at that waypoint. And so then, of course, if I just change it, you know, to something else, it'll recalculate the top of descent. And then if you want to just start your descent right now, I could just use VNav direct down here, this little button, and that'll move the top of descent to right in front of us. So within, I think it's within like 10 or 20 seconds. And then we can just start the descent right away. So if I hit VNav direct and activate it, the top of descent will get recalculated 15 seconds ahead of us. So it's urgent. And then I just hit VNav. Whoops, I got to change my altitude down. So I would change my selected altitude down first and then enable VNav. I'll just do that just to show that it turns on. So when I hit VNav, there we go, we just hit it. So now we're descending. VPath is active. And now we're going down to, you know, I have it at 96 right now, but I'm going to go back up to 10,000 because we have an approach to do. All right, turn VNav off. We'll get back up to 10,000 where we're supposed to be. And then I'll just clear that VNav altitude. And I'll just go back and reactivate my approach menu. Or whoops, proc, activate approach. All right, so we're gonna go back to that initial approach fix we were on the way to before. Turn it back to be on course. So they gave us an ILS approach to fly, so we're gonna do that. But yeah, the VNav editing stuff is just awesome. So if you're flying in VFR, I mean, having the combination between OBS mode to line you up laterally, roughly with the runway. So you just know the runway heading, or you just guess based off the runway number. So say you're on going as, you know, runway 15, you would say, okay, add a 0 to the end. It's roughly 150 heading. You could use OBS mode here to line yourself up roughly with the runway. And then at the same time, look up the airport altitude or the airport elevation, calculate your pattern altitude. So say it's 1000 AGL, dial in that on VNav as your VNav altitude, and then use VNav to automatically bring you down to pattern altitude. So there's yeah, you can get really nerdy and automated with, you know, letting the autopilot do that stuff for you. So it'll turn you on course, it'll bring you down to your pattern altitude. You can't yet set like a cross track to make sure you're like, you know, a mile away from the airport, parallel with it. You can't do that yet, but if we ever get there, then it'll be even more powerful. Considering it hasn't crashed or glaring buds revealed themselves during this stream, I'm tempted to opt in. I did not copy. What are we doing?
134 decimal.
All right, they're switching us off. Let me turn on the autopilot ATC again, or the AI ATC. Copilot will take it over. Yeah, I haven't opted into the beta before this. This is my first opt-in because I wanted to do the stream today and show some of the stuff off, but it's running great. All right, they're taking us down to 4,000.
Descend and maintain 4,000 feet, Cessna Kilo India Papa.
So let's see what we got here. Can I use VNav for this? Oh, they're just having us go straight to 2,000 feet.
Descend and maintain 2,000 feet.
Actually, I've never done this before. Can I use VNav direct for this waypoint? Right. Yeah, I would just do VNav direct because they're having us go all the way down to 2,000 and then just turn on VNav. I normally do it just for the next waypoint. All right, but I just did VNav direct for not the final approach fix, but for the waypoint with the altitude they gave us to go down to. They'll probably tell me to expedite it because they always do. Yeah, because it's a 15-minute descent, but there we go. VNav direct is pretty awesome. That's been in the NXi for a while now. But they're going to yell at me because we're descending at 500 feet per minute instead of what's 177 times 5 is 885. So they would expect us to be more at like 900 to 1,000 feet per minute. So yeah, it's a very shallow descent. Passengers are happy. Show the new ceiling edit tool. I haven't looked at that yet. There's a ceiling tool. Ceiling edit tool. I'm not sure where to find that. Where do we find this, Horst? We have altitude tops and bottoms for the cloud layers. Cloud levels close to the ground have been improved. If you opt in, you'll only see multiplayer people on the beta servers. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I haven't... Oh, I did see... I just saw shorts. One of the guys in chat was on earlier, and I think he put it on his... He put on beta, I guess, because we saw him in the game. In the sim. Wind and cloud layers. I'm not sure where what the ceiling thing is, Horst. So I didn't read that release note, actually. Wind graph. Oh, that's cool. I never look at this stuff because I just always use live weather. Yeah, they changed something with the window. Yeah, I don't look at it that often, so if anybody notices a change, you guys will notice the change, I will not. Mean ground level? Oh, is all this UI new maybe, where you can like drag the direction like this? Gusts per minute. I haven't looked at this stuff for a long time, so I'm not sure. Not sure what's new here.
Cessna Kilo India Papa, please expedite your descent 2,000 feet. FedEx 358, you are 81 miles northwest.
All right, they want us to expedite, so we'll just switch over to. That's right. It's showing the V path. It's showing the vertical deviation above us. Oh, it's coming back down now. So we're descending, but this isn't in the middle. It looks like... Oh, it's because of the weather changes, that's why. Yeah, I changed the weather, which changed the pressure, which changed our altimeter. That makes sense. Alright, so let's use vertical speed mode to go down faster. We'll go down at 900. Just to make them happy. Pull back on the throttle a little bit. Something I was going to mention about the weather radar is... So if you're flying the Grand Caravan, or you're flying the Kodiak, or the Bonanza, or the Baron, or the DA62, I think all those have weather radar enabled. So if you're on this weather radar page and you're dodging storms and stuff, and you want to leave this up, I would just recommend making sure you have the little inset map turned on over here. So by default, this one is off. So your PFD will just look like this with nothing in the corner. So at the bottom, just make sure you hit layout, and then you can turn on either the inset map here, or you can turn on the HSI map, which combines it with your HSI. So this basically gives you like kind of like the map screen in heading up mode, but all combined with a compass. So in both of these, the inset and the HSI map, you can change your range with this range knob. So the range knob on the right changes whatever map you have here. The range knob on the PFD affects your inset or HSI map. So if you do have the weather radar on, because it's important you're dodging stuff, or you want to be really aware of the weather you're flying towards, you could turn that on here on your PFD, just so you have a little bit of a view of your route and stuff like that. You might want to try the DX12 render when you're experimenting. I did turn it on before I started the stream, and I didn't really notice any change. I didn't notice any bugs either, so that's good. So for me, if kind of like with DLSS, if it's not doing much for me, I'm just going to leave it off. In this case, generally I leave DLSS on in every game I play. I know there are a lot of games that support it, like Fortnite or whatever, Warzone, whatever other games people play. It feels good to have it on. I feel like I'm giving my video card a break. But here, just because it makes the screens blurry here, I'm just going to leave it off for now. And it doesn't seem to be giving me too many performance improvements, but yeah, I'm not sure if it's... People in chat were pointing out that my CPU always says it's limited. It's limited by CPU for my frame rate. And I have a 5900X, so I don't think there's anything I can do about that. I think it's probably just running as well as it can with or without DLSS. What is ATK-OFS? Oh, on the... where is that? Is that a track offset? Only helps in GPU limited situations. It's weird because the the development mode, like the FPS counter I had running in the corner, pretty much just said GPU limited the entire time. I don't know, maybe that turned off now. I can turn it back on if you guys are curious to see the differences.
11902, you are 81 miles northwest.
Yeah, it just keeps saying limited by main thread. I'm running an Ultra right now with DLSS off. Alright, I'm going to change this back to the nav map. I'll just turn NextRad on just to see. Yeah, we don't really have to worry about anything anymore, it looks like. Alright, so we are on, what is it, the ILS for 2.9, I think? Alright, ILS 2.9. And up here, it's automatically tuned our frequencies for us, so that looks good. I'm not gonna take the time to look up anything in charts or anything like that. We're just going to assume it's a 200 AGL minimum. I've set that already, so we'll see that once we get below, I think, 2,500 feet, 2,500 AGL. We'll suddenly see our radar altimeter come alive, so that'll appear right around, I think it's right here. And it'll just say RA and a number, and what that's telling us is our height above the ground. So compared with our altimeter that shows us our barometric altimeter, so this is our MSL altitude based on sea level. The RA will show us our altitude above the ground at that moment. So obviously as the terrain goes up and down below us, that number is going to change. But in this aircraft, we have a radar, aka radio altimeter, so we can get our AGL height above the ground, like you would in an airliner or something. You know, if you're coming in on final on an airliner, you'll see your AGL value at the bottom of your PFD as well. It'll say like RA and a height, or I think it just shows the height at the bottom center or something like that. But anyway, we are doing the ILS to runway 29 over here. Alright, our co-pilot will take care of that one.
118.175 Cessna, Kilo India Papa. Jacksonville approach Cessna November 22 Kilo India Papa is passing.
So we're at 40, 43 FPS right now, so just to demonstrate it again, I mean, in my case, doesn't seem to be doing too much with DLSS. The thing that's weird, though, is that the first time I enabled DLSS, it made me restart the sim. But now it's not making me restart the sim. So it's possible that I need to restart the sim every time I enable DLSS. I'm not sure if that's the case or not.
2,000 feet.
So I think it is enabling it though, just because of this known issue of the displays becoming blurry. So right here, you can see the text is a little blurry. So I think it is actually enabled because of the blurriness of the text. And then I know that when I change, when I cycle this number here, I have a shortcut on my Bravo for this. You can see it's kind of blurry as it's changing the numbers. I think that's also an artifact of DLSS. So to me, it seems like it is on. Yeah, I am at 1440p and I'm in windowed mode. I don't think that makes a difference whether it's windowed or not, but for the stream I run it windowed because I'm on an ultra wide. If you're playing at 4K, you see a decent win. Gotcha. Won't do anything with a high-end GPU unless you're running ray tracing. Yeah, I did up everything to ultra. I guess something I could do is maybe a fair comparison would be to turn even terrain level of detail all the way up. Maybe even turn, okay, objects are all the way up. And maybe turn a glass cockpit refresh rate to high, like just max it out. And then compare this with DLSS to not having DLSS. Yeah, this is going to destroy my frames because whenever you put the 400 terrain quality, it's reloading everything in the distance, but it gets pretty crazy. Yeah, we've dropped 10 frames already just from that. Can you look out the side window on an ultra wide? Man, that's a good question. Well, let's find out. This will hopefully this will work and just show it letterbox. It's pretty good. It's not as good as having multiple. Hopefully this doesn't blow anything up. Okay, so hopefully this will just letterbox it. So for me, this is full screen now. It does give you a bit more. Yeah, okay, so you can see it in ultra wide on the stream, it looks like. See, it does give you a bit more on the sides, but it's not so much that I can see, you know, to my left, you know. But it does, yeah, it does open it up quite a bit. I mean, it feels, it's really, I don't know. I really like the ultra wide. I've had multiple monitors before. I used to have 2 though. I know a lot of people, or some people will run 3, so they have one centered. When I had 2 monitors, I really didn't like not feeling centered, right? You have either if you put them equally, you know, right in the middle, so the crease between the monitors, the separation is right in the middle, that's weird. So because I had 2, changing to an ultra wide was really good for me. So for people with 3 monitors though, I think, I don't know, I think you might not want an ultra wide because you get more of a field of view horizontally when you have 3, I'm pretty sure. You know, this is 38, what is it, 3880 or something? 3840. But anyway, for the stream, I keep it in 1440 just because people kind of like the standard, just the standard 16:9 aspect ratio. So I go in windowed like this, just so it fills most people's screens. And then I have chat and stuff on the side, you know, on the side of the sim running in a window. Hey Ed, what's up? Cool, glad it's helpful, Ed. Yeah, I'm learning at the same time with you guys and checking these things out. So yeah, hopefully this helps you figure out if you want to try the beta or not. But for me, so far, I mean, it seems to be running really nice. Yeah, see, even, I mean, it still says limited by main thread on mine, so I'm not sure if there's anything I can do to take better advantage of DLSS. The 400 on the, changing that to 400 really kills my frames more than anything, this terrain level of detail. So by default, that's at, or on Ultra, it's at 200. So I generally, at least today, I've been running Ultra with motion blur turned off. And DLSS on quality or not doesn't seem to make a difference with my frames personally, but it'll be cool to see. I'll be watching the forums for people, you know, giving their feedback on it, because it's just always interesting to see how other people are experiencing the updates. So I mean, hopefully a lot of people are just stoked and getting tons more frames on, you know, maybe less powerful video cards, or if they have a less powerful CPU or something. Why are we still descending? All right, that's weird. So maybe that was a bug. So I had it on, my altitude selected was 2,000, but we're at 1,000 feet right now, and I didn't change anything. All right, we're gonna get back on track here. Autopilot's back on. Let's go back up to 2,000 feet. Sadly, you can't increase the render resolution with DLSS active. Wouldn't worry about it. Great in VR. Yeah, I'll have to try. I have VR, but I rarely use it. I'll have to try it out. Still had VS selected on Bravo. I had VS selected, but I had my selected altitude bugged at 2,000, and it just blew through it. I haven't changed this 2,000 right here, so it should have captured at 2,000 feet. All right, and we're going to make our last left turn here for runway 29er. Oh, we haven't talked to ATC at all, right? I think we're just still good. Yeah, they just haven't been talking to us. 3004, continue to winds. We're going to Dante and then winds, okay. And is winds our final approach fix? All right, final approach is winds, 1600 at winds. So we'll just bug it for 1600 right now. All right, we're leveling off at 2000, so we'll get altitude capture at 2000. All right, there we go. So let's turn VNav mode back on. Looks like the light is still on. We'll cycle it. All right, VPath's on standby for going down to 1600 now. And you can see, sorry, I said the wrong spot. I thought it was down here. Right here, we have our RA, radio altimeter. So this is also new. So if you have a plane that has a radio or radar altimeter, you can use that, and you'll see it right here. And we also have our minimum for our approach set, 200. So that's 200 AGL for the ILS. So we can use that for our minimums instead of our barometric altimeter. So that's another new thing in the beta, the NXi that's in the beta. Jealous that you get ATC talking all mine. Hasn't said a thing to me in months. Oh, that's weird. I haven't had an ATC outage for a while. Oh, we got the auto switch to localizer. Alright, we're clear for the approach. So here I'm going to enable approach mode because we want it to follow the glide slope once we get to it. So the ILS glide slope gives us our vertical guidance. Sure, everybody here knows all this already, probably. Hey Chris, what's up? Alright, so yeah, the auto switch worked as expected. So once we made that turn onto our final course, it automatically switched our source over from GPS to use the localizer, which is for the ILS. So that lines us up with the runway. Oh, you know what? This whole time I've had the yaw damper off. I'll turn it. I think I have to turn it off for landing, but forgot the yaw damper works in the in the 208 as well. That's not a beta thing. I think that was fixed in the last update. I'm here to learn. All right. I think maybe I have it in me to do one more short flight after this. How long have we been going here? 3 hours and 30 minutes. All right, someone else is being cleared for the 29er approach for the ILS 29er. Here's our top of descent. This is going to take us down to 1,600 feet before wind so we can intercept the glide slope. But you can see this happens often in Microsoft Flight Simuilator. The glide slope comes in pretty early. Pretty much in all cases, I think you get the glide slope quite early. So you end up not needing to even do this slight descent to the final approach fix. So here we're at, we're going to catch the glide slope in just a second here. Remember, I hit the approach button and it says GS in white, meaning it's activated, which means it's on standby. Now it's armed. So now it's actually following the glide slope and it's pitching us down. So all we have to do is manage our power, manage our flaps. We'll wait for our minimum of 200 AGL for the approach. I didn't look it up, but generally in ILS, minimums for, what is it, a Cat 1? Or is it Cat 3? Which way does it go? I think it's Cat 1, right? ILS is the basic one that us GA people can use, is 200 feet AGL. So what we're doing is we're taking advantage of the radio altimeter. This is giving us our height above the ground, right? Our barometric altimeter gives us height above sea level based on the pressure we set right here that they're always telling us to set. So it's accurate. But if we have a plane that has a radar or radio altimeter, I think you can say it either way, we get this other measurement right here. This is our height above the ground. So instead of dialing in the MSL value for our minimum, we can dial in the radio altimeter minimum above the ground. So we have that right here. RA minimum's 200 feet. So if no matter what ILS we're flying, if the minimum is 200 above the ground, we can just every time set the radar altimeter or radio altimeter minimum to 200. So it's just faster. But then again, if there's a lot of terrain coming up here before the airport, it could be a little weird to see this number shifting a lot as the terrain rises and drops, below you. Anyway, it's an option for you, mattering which one you want to set. Yeah, exactly, Tabs. Yep, so it uses radio waves down to determine your height above the ground at that moment. All right, I'm a bit fast here, so I'm gonna slow way down. All right, so we got the 500 call out. We're at 370, 360 on the radio altimeter. I'm gonna turn the yaw damper off. 240 or something. I can barely see the 2. Putting my flaps down way too late. It should have been fully configured. That's 200, so that's our minimum. We can see the airport environment clearly. Edge lighting system, everything. Got some birds up there. Give me the stall. Oh, we didn't get the stall horn. Should have had my flaps out. Like, when we hit the final approach fix, I should have, like, fully configured for landing already, but I just waited too long, so I was just blabbering. Yeah, thanks for being in the chat, Matt. Matt's the true magician. Appreciated all the coverage of Working Titles NXi to get me up to speed. Yeah, I'll be making another one. I haven't made the last few versions because the last few releases have mainly been bug fixes, and they've done a ton of bug fixes the last few. So now I'm with all these new features coming though in the beta. I'll have a video out for all this stuff. But it won't be out until August 23rd, I think, is the release date for Sim Update 10. All right, parking brake on, taxi lights on, landing light off, strobe. Do you keep your strobe on or off in the US? I don't know. I think they're different rules. I think you turn your nav lights off. I think you turn your strobe off too, right? We were talking about this in chat one time, and someone in Canada said they leave theirs on. Someone else said they leave theirs off. I don't know the rules. All right, put my flaps up. All right, they're already up. Taxi to parking. I have the taxi ribbon turned on for now, just because I'm not referencing any airport diagrams, taxiway charts, those kind of things. All right, parking brake off.
General aviation parking via taxiway Alpha Cessna Kilo India Papa.
I guess that makes sense. Normally, a bunch of people fly along when I'm doing the stream, and it makes sense that nobody is around because nobody has the beta installed. This is my first time installing the beta, so I totally get it. But I don't know, it's been stable. I haven't even uninstalled any mods. I have every single mod that I have running still on there. So I'm running like the Aerosoft Simple Traffic. I'm running Rex AccuSeason for the trees. What else do I have? I have the Piper Warrior installed, the Kodiak. I'm not sure what else. But I mean, it's been running great. I can tell the performance is better in this beta than it is in the current one. After Sim Update 9, I feel like the performance got worse. And I know for those of you on Xbox, it got worse. Just because I've seen people posting about that in the forums for a while. And even in chat when I stream, that Xbox has been pretty bad. So, I don't know. I think just based on my experience today, flying this around for the last 3.5 hours on the stream, I mean, I haven't had any problems. I've even switched back and forth enabling and disabling DLSS like 10 times this stream, and the sim is just totally solid. I'm even trying to jinx it by saying this over and over and over again. Wow, look how stable it is. It's incredible. This thing could never crash. What an absolute marvel of development and engineering that we're seeing here. Is it gonna crash? So yeah. Pretty nice. All right, there we go. So we've done 2-hour-plus flights so far. All right, Ed, have a good one. Thanks for hanging out. Taking the plunge and starting the beta update in Steam as I type. Oh, I know the last thing I can check. I think they added some stuff to the Hornet, right? Unless you guys have a request for the last thing you want to see before I'm done for the day. I'm pretty sure the Hornet got an update. I'm just looking at the release notes real quick. There you go. I can bring them up. Oh yeah, the head-mounted display, right? So that's like separate from the HUD, it's like the eyepiece thing that's over, like attached to the helmet. I had to Google it. I was like, what's an HMD? I have no idea. Oh, see you, Tony. Haven't tried it out yet. Yeah, so this is all the NXi stuff. I think we went over all this, right? So added the weather radar. So we just looked at that with the 208 with the Grand Caravan. The radio altimeter. So we just looked at that. And the RA min. So not only do you get the radio altimeter, but instead of setting your minimums for an approach with your barometric altimeter only, you can now choose RA as an option for your minimums. We just did that and set it to 200 for the ILS. We did not do this, the back course support. So localizer back course approaches, I think there are only like a few dozen of them or something. Maybe like, I think fewer than 50 in the US. So if you find one of those, you can actually Google and find a list of them. I had done it to see where they were. And so I guess what you can do is you can hit the back course button now on the autopilot to fly a back course approach. So that's a thing if you ever run into a localizer back course approach. Current remaining active leg distance to the FPL for the active leg. I did not look at that. We did this, edit all flight plan altitude restrictions. Yeah, and then we can use them for VNAV, which is here. VNAV guidance to an airport when no approach is selected. So that's what we did. Or there's a bug for that right now, but you'll be able to set the altitude in the flight plan for your destination airport. Use VNAV to fly down to, say, pattern altitude. We didn't test this, but I guess the nav and comm volume knobs work. They're those little tiny knobs in the corner, like above the comm frequency knobs, like little tiny knobs that control the volume. So I guess those work now, which is, I don't know if they work. It says support for handling them. So I don't know if they actually work or that means that they could work in the future. Anyway, we didn't try that, but it sounds like we could just turn down the volume of ATC using those knobs. Or of, a localizer or a VOR you're tuned into and listening to the Morse code on. Slew mode. So I guess there were some bugs fixed if you use slew mode. And then a bunch of bug fixes. Oh, and the big thing that we tested was, I actually don't think this was mentioned in the notes, right? Is that ATC is that we can use our changes in our flight plan or do our whole flight plan right there in the NXi, and it works with ATC. We tested that. We did 2 destination changes. We did it from the ground with no flight plan on the world map. So I don't think that stuff is mentioned here, right? If I just search for ATC. Oh, is that it? No. But the ATC stuff was working. Like we did it multiple times. I feel like that's a big thing that was changed. Yeah, so I mean it's just really convenient. So once you land or if you're in the air, you can change ATC and still have the Microsoft Flight Sim ATC working and tell it you have a destination change. That's awesome because for me personally, that means I don't have to say that anymore. By the way, you have to do all your planning in the world map. So actually that's going to be great because I can start doing that in future videos and streams, is just do all the flight planning right on the G1000 again and use it with the Flight Sim ATC. So that'll be fun. What else do we got here? I'm just browsing these really quickly. So we have the HMD. That might be fun to look at real quick before I end the stream. See what it even shows. And G1000 flight parameters changed, trim rudder 1%. This one was interesting that I guess the 172 had more of a left rolling tendency than it should have. So it looks like they trimmed it 1 degree to the right. So it's to compensate for that. Maybe it was just unrealistic how much it was turning left in the 172. Dark Star, a bunch of other stuff here. I don't really fly any of these. Sorry. If you guys do, sorry. There's some bug fixes. I'll put a link to these release notes in the chat again, just so you guys want to check them out. And then, yeah, for you guys with multiple monitors, if you have the beta installed, there's this new experimental tab here. So if I go over to options, general, and then there's this new experimental one on the bottom left. This right here, add new render window, will add a new window of the sim. So it'll just like duplicate the sim window. So I think the idea is you can change the camera angle and then move that window to another monitor. But it's some, early version of multi-monitor support. So if you guys have multiple monitors, you might want to try that out. And there we go. Okay, yeah, let's just check out the. Sorry, I'm looking at the release notes again. This is the There are so many bug fixes. It's crazy. I mean, it's got to be like the biggest release note, like set of release notes I've seen since release. All right, yeah, let's check out the Hornet. Gotta choose the Maverick. KMXK? KMKX? Where's Miramar? KNKX. Brilliant. You could try disabling NAN OVG to see if it improves performance. No one seems to know what it does, though. Is the replay feature any better? I haven't tried it. I haven't tried that since it was released, actually. I haven't done any replay stuff. I could take a look at it. I'm pretty newbie to it. I think I used it one time when it was first released, so I'm not sure I would notice what the changes were. But in the release notes, I don't see anything about replay. Oh, okay, yeah, it does. It says fix potential issues during replay. But I don't know if that's talking about... Yeah, maybe it is talking about the recorder. Recorder, maybe they call it? I don't see the word recorder in the flight in the release notes either. Okay, so these little... Huh. Yeah, this looks different already. What's this? Is this to align with it? Don't you like move your camera to align these together or something? I'm not sure what that is. Well, we're about to find out. I've never used an HMD before. Anybody in DCS, in the world of DCS world, is probably like, yep, this is a thing we've had forever. But we'll see what it is. It's great in VR, lines up with your right eye. Oh, for mid-air refueling. I know nothing about fighter jets other than learning the autopilot back when this thing was released. What is NAN OVG, Tabs? I think you're the second person to mention that, but I have no idea what it is. Join late is the replay. I could try... I have this open right now, right? The replay... Is it the developer camera? No. I don't even remember how to get to the replay camera thing, the recorder, right? Isn't it called recorder? Slew mode, developer camera, tools. Where is it? I think I've used that like once. Oh, it's under experimental? All right, it looks like it's still going through our checklist. I can check that out. Experimental. Oh, NAN OVG mode. Oh, it says it's on. So you said to turn it off? Nano VG. Nano VG. Nano VG is specific 2D drawing library. No one knows what it is except for Matt. Huh. All right. Yeah, I don't really want to mess with that. Oh, replay tool is here too. Got it. Package reorder to low power mode. I assume low power mode is for maybe people on gaming laptops or something, right? To prevent it from going nuts. Or if you have like a low end GPU, low end CPU. Why am I having such a hard time finding the recording thing? All right, finally got through that checklist. So, wait, is the HMD only available in VR then? Like, am I wasting my time starting this up? All it says is, let's see. The only thing it says is HMD has been added. Oh, restart the flight to see it. Gotcha. I mean, this looks new. This little alignment thing right here looks new. The HUD looks the same to me, except, yeah, I think the HUD looks the same. HMD, yeah, head-mounted display. So I assume you only see it in VR then? So maybe I'm wasting my time. Oh, the alignment thing was there before. All right, so maybe this isn't something I can demo right now then, the HMD. If it's VR only. I mean, it makes sense that it's VR only. So I assume, I don't know, for some reason I guess I thought that as I move my camera around, it would show the HMD, like just on the screen. Oh, there's an option on the panels. All right, let's go hunting. Oh, is this it? There's HMD right here. Somebody probably has figured this out on the forums already, and I'm gonna... Oh, right here. HMD. So this knob says HMD off, and it was off, and now it's on bright. Oh, there it is. Yes! Okay, so it only shows when you move your head away from the main cockpit area. There we go. All right. I guess that's it. So you just have this brightness knob that you just turn. Yep. Cool. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that in VR, that's going to be really cool.
Wings.
Wings. Forget if I have DLSS on or off still. I think I have it off, judging by the display. Maybe a little blurry looking. All right, what's the procedure? I think we have anti-skid on for takeoff, flaps at half, gears obviously down. Yeah, I can just do whatever I want now because I have the Maverick livery on. No rules. I have unlimited fuel turned on and auto mixture on. I think I turned on unlimited fuel back when I was playing with the Pelican. And that thing is still so fun. Oh man, I haven't even tried the Pelican in VR. Now I'll have to try this in VR. I don't even know the rotation speed in this. Is it like 170 or something? Oh, do I have the afterburner? I do. I do have the afterburner bound. Yeah, the Pelican is actually really fun. Why not afterburner on taxi? Oh no. Yeah, opportunity lost. Hey, well, we're playing in the Hornet. It's but multiplayer is off, so, or multiplayer is not off, but there's so few people. How am I supposed to just buzz around LAX or, you know, JFK and annoy people? think we're supposed to turn anti-skid off when we take off. Is that right? Flaps auto, anti-skid off. Pretty sure. Look, there are a few people on the beta. Here's Yunny, Puff, and Juan in front of us. Fortunately, no weather. We're gonna have to turn on the clouds. And oh yeah, the recorder's up here. That's right. So here's the recorder. Let's turn on some clouds. Let's go with a storm preset. This is fine. If you require afterburner on taxi, you probably landed with the wheels up. So if we look away, I mean, in VR, this is going to be way more useful, but anytime we look away, and I wish we could get, we don't see the horizon on the HMD, right? I mean, I guess I have my vertical speed, so I mean, I know I'm climbing at 16,000 feet per minute, so that works. And I know my speed, my heading, and so I know that I need to pitch down because I'm at 14,000 feet per minute. Storm, sunset, sunrise in VR is pure magic. Yeah, so there's a really popular Twitch streamer named Lyric, who I think I've watched him, you know, casually play games for I don't even know how many years. It's probably like going on 10 years, I feel like. But he played this, and he was flying around with the Pelican and with the Hornet, and he was doing it in yeah, with the storm preset like this at sunset. It was just awesome watching that, because he has like, you know, 20,000 people watching him on Twitch or whatever, giant streamer. And the people in chat were so stoked about the clouds, the graphics, the sunset, like, oh, what up, squad? We're going Maverick. Yeah, this is why you have unlimited fuel turned on, and the Hornet is just so you can have the afterburner on at all times. Otherwise, you're going to run out of fuel in like 5 minutes. I guess I could turn it off. All right, let's go up and out of these clouds. But it was really cool. I know people on the forums and stuff get really defensive about this sim, and they're like, oh, there's a futuristic like spaceship thing in this sim. It's horrible, whatever. But there were literally 20,000 people watching this streamer play and learning how to fly a little bit. I mean, he was flying the Pelican, but he still had to like remember certain things about his speed and stuff like that, and the overspeed warning, whatever. But how just hyped up they were for the graphics and just how much fun he was having with it. It could turn into somebody or dozens or hundreds of people trying the sim and maybe having fun for a day and then deciding they want to take it seriously and learn how to fly the planes. And then you could have some people that have a lifelong love for the flight sim, and become serious about it. So I only just see it as a good thing. But it was really exciting to see how just hyped up people were about the graphics when he was doing that. Yeah, he definitely rolled it back. He rolled it back into like a sunset. So yeah, he was pretty much doing this, flying through a storm. And they were just, stoked watching it. Oh, gatekeeping, yeah, that's it. It's a good word to describe it, yeah. I mean, just that you could... I was also excited for the same reason for when Flight Sim came out on Xbox, is because it was especially good that it came out because of all the supply chain issues, not being able to even build a PC even if you wanted to. So it's like, man, just the more the merrier. To be able to sit on your couch with like your family or friends, or just alone, having a beer or a water and flying around and, doing stuff like this is just incredible. I don't have an Xbox, but if I did, I would definitely be sitting on my couch doing this, probably instead of trying to catch up on Stranger Things. So yeah, this is cool. I mean, for you guys in VR, like turning this on is awesome. It's just this knob right here, as we just discovered. You just turn this knob to get the HMD on, and you get your speed and altitude information and your heading info whenever you're looking away. We're getting some stutters here. Whenever you're looking away from, you know, from the straight ahead, pretty much you get this. So here I can see that my vertical speed was down, so I'm just pitching up until it goes up. There, now we're in the positive, so I know I'm not gonna run into something. Pretty awesome. Well, that's cool. You got your 3070 RTX ready to take on some real gaming. Yeah, dude. Wait, didn't you install this? Mick Jagger 5221. Me and Mick Jagger have known each other for years, but he's getting into PC gaming. Watching your stream instead of Stranger Things and The Old Man starring Jeff Bridges, so you're doing something right. I don't want to keep anybody from watching Stranger Things. I'm far behind on so much TV because I do tend to, load up The Sim or load up another game. Like I play a lot of games with my family. You know, we live in different areas of the country, so we play a lot of games together and catch up doing that. So I do that a lot of the time instead of watching shows. And yeah, I've just been watching Stranger Things, so I'm like halfway through the last season. Good stuff. Hey, as long as you're having fun with whatever you're doing, watching a streamer, playing a game, watching a show, it's nice that we can just take the time to entertain ourselves, you know? Nice stuff. Games have more to offer me. Yeah, I've been gaming since I was a little kid, you know, it's like, it's just part of my blood. Part of a lot of our childhoods, and yeah, I don't think I'll ever stop. Just another night in the sky. Having a jumping jack flash on your new PC. Oh yeah, there is a toggle nameplates. Yeah, you're right. I haven't checked that yet. That's a great thing to have for, yeah, even especially doing something like this. Oh yeah, I said it's in the controls, right? Add it to the keyboard. Yeah, let's check it out. Toggle nameplates. Yep, there we go. Toggle nameplates. Let me set it to, I don't know, Control N? What is that? Already used as nav1 hold. Nav1 swap. All right, Control F12. It's probably some NVIDIA shortcut. All right, Control F12. Nice. Yeah, that's awesome. There, now we can get, now all I have to do is turn this off, and then we'll have more cinematic experience. Dude. This looks like a movie. This is crazy. I mean, this is the kind of thing that gets people hyped up. Yeah, the nameplates, it's a mod. It's linked in the video description tab, so if you want to download it, I definitely recommend it. This is fine. After playing Afterburn in the arcades, now being able to play this. DLSS runs better the higher the utilization rate on your graphics card is. I think I have DLSS on still. Are we climbing? We are. 5,000 feet a minute. And there are mountains in front of us, so maybe we should pull this up. Yeah, ATC probably did send us through this. When are we gonna break through? These are some clouds here. No weather radar on this thing, right? Well, we're at 12,000 feet. We're still in the clouds. Pretty sure the mountains here north of me are lower than 10,000. I think they're more like 7 or 8, so we should be clear of these. Yeah, I gotta do this on VR tonight. I think that's definitely in order. Do you still think the in-game ATC needs an unable? Oh yeah, you think it needs an unable button? Yeah. Yeah. When you're in the 172 and they tell you to climb to flight level 200, you can't do it. Oh. Should be some active systems. It would be. I mean, I wonder if the ATC stuff can be improved without an update. Like if they just do it on the server side. Because I have noticed it change here and there, like in small ways. Like between, even without an actual update. Yeah, flying through clouds in VR. I really need to do that more. I haven't flown in VR forever. Oh, we got some icing. Isn't there aren't there anti-icing things down here? Wingfold, defog, refuel. I'm turning my head completely sideways here. I swear there are anti-icing systems somewhere here. Pitot, oh, it's right here, anti-ice. Engine and pitot on. Is there a windshield? I'm not sure there's defog. Oh, windshield anti-ice. There we go. Got it. Whoa, look at this cloud. Dude. Sim update beta finished. Diving in later after the stream ends. The stream end is imminent. I'm pretty much done. This is just beautiful, so I can't help myself. I just gotta keep going. These clouds look amazing. Yeah, this is, I think I still have DLSS on, so. Oh, I think they said they also fixed, I think they fixed all the trails for multiplayer, right? All the chemtrails. Good luck, Darren. Thoughts and prayers. I mean, if your experience is anything like mine, I think it'll be a good one, because this is... I have had no problems all day. Alright, am I going to try to land something? Man, if I try to land, I'm going to fail, so I kind of just want to be done. Not embarrass myself. Alright, KL, we'll go to LAX, just go straight south. Turn the map on over here. Is it the bottom menu? HSI. Where's the map? Oops. Should probably pay attention. We just go south. I'll fly to Aspen. Wonder how long that would take in this thing. 500, 600 knots. Especially keen to try out DX12. Better CPU utilization helps scale things to CPUs with lots of cores. Actually, I wonder if I can switch. I don't think I can switch to DX12 without restarting. Yeah, I need to restart. I should test out if DX12 uses the CPU better, then that would make DLSS more impactful, right? I'm not sure. Oh yeah, DLSS is bugged in VR. I think they mentioned that in the release notes. Oh, potentially. They did say something about DX12 not working in VR. This is fine. This is not fine. Pull up! That's a good way to end it, right? I guess those clouds are pretty low. GG. Alright, well, I would say the beta is awesome. Like there's a lot of other stuff to dig into, I think. What a way to end the stream, yep. DX12 VR's horrible performance. And DLSS could potentially be worth it in your case with DX12. Yeah, I'll try it out tonight, see how it goes. Getting crazy good performance right now in this at 4K, DX12, DLSS, better performance than at 4K when you are getting, then better in 4K than at 1440p. Oh man, well that's awesome. Actually, isn't this landing challenge new? I think this is new in the beta as well. I forget. Challenge, yeah, new Spotlight event landing challenge, citation CJ4, lane 8 NTB International in Uganda. Yeah, so this is a new, that's pretty cool that we get access to the new Spotlight challenge, landing challenge in the beta. You don't have to wait for the full thing to come out. And I think somebody asked earlier when it comes out. I'm pretty sure it's August 23rd. It's like the 20-something in August. So we got a good 6 weeks or so until it's out for real. But yeah, I mean that was a really good experience. I don't have a reason to go away from the beta, so I think I'll just keep the beta running until the full thing is out next month. That's the plan. Am I at 600 hours yet? I'm not. I got some work to do. I put in so much time last year and obviously been slacking off quite a bit this year, so and I could be at like 700-800, maybe even higher. Not even at 600 yet, so I got some flying to do. All right, that was super fun. Yeah, thanks HG. Thanks for hanging out. Andreas, Darren, Dickie. Who else is in here? The Matts. If Matt is still here, thanks for hanging out. Matt from the Working Title team was chilling, telling us explaining some of the things with the NXi. So yeah, if you guys, let me find the link really quickly to put it in case you guys want to update and want to download the beta. Let me find the instructions thread again real quick for you. It just matters if you're on, if you're on Xbox or, let me just bring it up here. Just matters if you're on Xbox, or you got it through Steam or through, the Microsoft Store, how to install it. So there's a whole new forum section called Sim Update 10 Beta. So I think it's in here. It might just be under the beta news. Yeah, welcome to Sim Update 10. Is this it? Yep, here it is. So here are all the ways to do it. Microsoft Store or Xbox, you have to install the Insider Hub app. And then you just opt in to Microsoft Flight Simulator beta there. And then on Steam, you just right click, go to Properties, Betas, and choose Sim Update 10. Then after that, you start the sim. But anyway, I'll put a link to this in chat. In the store, yeah. So on Microsoft Store or Xbox Store, you get this app called the Insider Hub. It's a separate app. You run it, and then all you do with that app is opt in for the beta. So you say, yes, I want to participate. And then when you, at least on PC, you had to reboot your PC first. So right here it says, after you do it, yeah, restart your Xbox or PC. once you restart and then go to the Xbox store, wherever you update your game, so in the Xbox store, the Xbox app, it'll update to the beta version. Then you launch it, launch the game as usual, and it'll do the rest of the updating in the game. So I don't know how big the update is. It was, I think it took me like 15 minutes or something, but I have pretty good internet. Anyway, yeah, that's what you do. So I put the instructions in the chat. I'll put them in the video description too if you want to refer to it later. But yeah, I don't know. I recommend it. I just did, what do we stream for? 4 hours and 30 minutes just now. We used the beta for with 0 crashes. And that includes changing DLSS on and off over and over again, turning developer mode on and off several times. I changed the graphics settings tons of times. We flew what, 3 different planes around the US. I have all of my mods installed still. I didn't uninstall any of my mods. I haven't tried them yet either, but I don't have too many. But I have Rex AccuSeason. I have the Aerosoft Simple Traffic tool. I have a Piper Warrior and the Kodiak. Anyway, I'm impressed. I think it looks great. I think you guys saw that too. So yeah, it is, of course, a risk to do it. Like, you can risk it. You might have a crappy experience. You might end up in, like, you know, figuring out which mods are breaking it and all that cycle that can be horrible, but you can always just revert back to the main version. That's in those instructions as well. It tells you down here. Oh, does it tell you? Yeah, right here. So at the bottom of each section, it tells you if you want to revert and go back to the regular version, you can do that. You just opt out of the beta, restart it again, let it update again. So yeah, it's not really risky. It just takes some time to download. But anyway, thanks guys. Thanks everybody for watching. Thanks for hanging out today. Yeah, that was fun. I had a good time. I'm stoked for this stuff to come out next month, and I'll probably stream several times before then. And I'll eventually make a video for all these new NXi improvements, just a regular NXi tutorial video, you know, pointing out all those new things we have. But yep, check it out. Hope you guys have a good rest of the day or night, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for chilling today. And sorry about the beginning of the stream where I had my microphone muted for 10 minutes. You know, I'm not perfect. Can't help it. Anyway, have a great day. I'll see you guys next time.